Bam, bam, damn, a damn Alabama fan and proud of it. Gump Nation forever, brother.
Namath again faking, quickly finds his target.
He's at the 40-yard line. He's at the 30.
Quick drop throws in the end zone.
Each number represents an expectation, a challenge that only a championship tradition can issue.
Pressure. Anders hits him. The ball is loose.
Alabama, here comes the heat. Cornelius Bennett. Whoa, did he get lit up?
It is an endless passing of the torch that urges the wearer to enrich his legacy.
Brings pressure up the middle in a hurry. They can't get away from Dante.
Alexander first down and more. Richardson breaks free on the sideline. Turns it corner. Can you say goodbye?
Because at Alabama, tradition is not retired. It is built.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope y'all are doing well. Guess who's over here beside me? Guess, just go ahead. I bet you'll never guess.
Bigfoot.
Close enough.
It's similar, ain't it?
Hey, before we get started, let me read this right here. Travis B., I left a comment on your last video regarding Bigfoot Sasquatch show during. I can get a hold of some cool evidence and bring on and link to you an Ohio team to join the show. That's fine with me, Travis. Actually, I am working on some of that stuff right as we speak. I had a response last night. I just sent them an email. But if you've got someone, more the merrier, is what I'm going to say. So, Travis, if you want to, stay after the show, and we'll get together. We're going to come up with a big old Bigfoot show, sure enough, here right after the first of the year. Two-time, I'm glad to see you. I am glad to see you, Two-time. I have missed you. I don't know where you've been. You might have been just laying back in the woods somewhere. I don't know, but glad to see you. So how you doing, man?
Doing good. Doing real good. Yeah, shout out Travis B. Shout out to Two-time. Good to see y'all out there. I want to give a special shout out to my son. Turned 5 yesterday. Threw him a big birthday party. Had a great time. I just want to tell him, I love you, son. I'm proud of you. You make me and your mama proud, and man, it's been fun. It's been fun. 5 years go by fast,
Shoot. I mean, before you know it, oh, good grief, you'll be buying that young man a car. Tell him happy birthday for us.
Man, I can't handle it.
Well, be sure to tell him we said happy birthday, would you?
Yes, sir. We'll do.
All right. Sounds good. So, what you got on your mind this morning before I cut that beard off?
Woo. Well, I got several things on my mind. I don't know how familiar everybody is with the show Bussin' with the Boys and Taylor Lewan, but he's a former Michigan guy, NFL offensive lineman, and he had a lot of disrespect he threw our way, especially our coach's way. I want to get into that later. Maybe some transfer portal talk. It's getting out of hand. It's getting crazy. I can't keep up with it. I bet Coach Saban Jr. hadn't slept in 2 weeks having to cover all this. My hat's off to him. I'd hate to know I had to cover all the recruiting and transfer portal stuff right now. And then let's see. Man, there's so much we can talk about. The new hire that Alabama made, the former Michigan linebackers coach, we can get into that. Senator Rick Scott in Florida wanting to press the college football playoff committee, because they don't have enough problems in Florida that they need to take care of.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, good grief. Yeah, we got a ton we can talk about. It's all college football season right now. You may think it's getting close to an end. It's just beginning. There's always
yeah. Well, let's tell you what. Let's kick off with the Michigan guy, because that seems what you might want to be talking about more than anything. So have at it.
All right. Well, it's been making the rounds in social media here lately. A lot of people talking about it. Of course, a lot of Michigan fans have got a lot to say about it. But apparently they think we're hiring him just for intel because, Michigan's that important that we're not looking at the game after them. That's how important we think they are. I guess they think if Texas wins against Washington, we're going to go out and hire a Texas coach real quick too. Bunch of idiots. But anyway, don't get me started on that. But yeah, the gentleman we hired, George Helo's his name. I'm familiar with him. I believe he was like a grad assistant at Alabama at one time. He started out in the weight room. He was assisting the strength and conditioning coach at Bama in 2012 and quickly rose up the ladder and started helping with the defensive line. And, of course, that 2012 defense was pretty solid, so he's been around some good players before. He's worked his way around. I believe he walked on at the University of Ole Miss as a football player. And so he's been around the game. He worked at Florida State some with Jeremy Pruitt when he was defensive coordinator. He worked at Georgia with Kirby. First year Kirby was there. He did some special teams and linebacking coaching at Maryland in 2020. They saw a vast improvement in their team in the 1 year he was there, and then jumped to Michigan. And they had a top 20 team around the board and was really known for their linebacker play. So I think we got a good hire here, considering our guys leaving, going to was it Mississippi State?
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good pickup myself. I'm not getting into we'll know Michigan's tendency. Michigan ain't the same team they was in week 2, no more than we are.
Yeah, that's true.
They changed a lot of things. Key players change up. How they're going to approach us is going to be different than their last ball game. So I'm not getting into all that goofy shit. But
I'm glad you said that.
What's that?
I forgot TVMA. I always forget.
Well, if I'm on screen, you better have it. Sorry, Mom. But but yeah, I mean, this guy, he played a pivotal role in Michigan's 2021 resurgence on defense. They had a top 20 unit across the board, total defense, scoring defense. I think they were 8th in scoring defense at the end of the year. Of course, they were in the playoff. We all knew that. But I mean, he's a good coach. He's been around a lot of people. He knows a lot about the game. He's made a lot of big connections. I thought it was a good hire.
Yeah, it ain't no 2 times. It's a conspiracy. Yeah. Everybody's out to get Michigan. Hell, Michigan ain't worth mentioning hardly. But I don't know. They are. Peace, everyone's road time. Yeah, we still feel sorry for you, Nick Saban Jr., because you got so much going on right now. Good grief.
Are you getting any sleep right now, Nick Saban Jr.?
We know you're joking 2 times.
Yeah. 2 times knows I got respect for him, man. I've talked to him in chats for a year now. I like the guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, me too. Brock, roll tide to you. Missed you last night. Brittany B, roll tide. Ryan Williams. Okay. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot about Ryan Williams. A lot.
Receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't seen this much hype around a receiver at Alabama in the state of Alabama probably since Julio, which was my
Really?
senior year in high school. I got to go see him play one time. I'm not the only one that's seen him play in person in high school. I know Nick Saban Jr. mentioned it before too. Never seen an athlete like him before in my life. I've seen Carnell Williams play when he was in high school. I've seen a lot of guys play that were really good athletes. Julio was the top of the top. That was a grown man when he was like 16.
Yeah.
As impressive as guys I've ever seen. I don't think Ryan Williams is flipping nowhere myself, because Alabama, between transfer portal and graduation, we're going to have some guys leave. And he's got just as good a chance to come in and play as anybody. We've seen it this year with Downs at safety. If you're good enough, Saban will put you on that field.
I'm right, he will.
So, I mean, and I believe in this cat. He's got speed, unreal track speed. I mean, Brock said it. He's electric, and I agree 100%. He can do so much. He may be a better route runner at this stage in the game than Julio was. Julio was just a more physical, dominant guy. You weren't going to press cover Julio in high school. It just wasn't going to happen. So, yeah, I'm excited about this guy. I'm excited about a bunch of guys, man. I'm seeing rumors about a kid that was committed to Miami, and NSJ will know all these people's names, and I get them confused. That's why I don't even talk about it most of the time. I leave it to the experts like him. They got a running back. We didn't really have a commit at running back this year because, I mean, we've got a pretty full stable, don't get me wrong. But pretty solid running back from the state of Alabama that a lot of rumors saying he's going to flip to Alabama. Another one that's an Arkansas commit. There's a lot of players right now. And then transfer portal. Yeah. Kevin Riley or Riley Kevin. I can't remember his name. Thank you, NSJ. There's a lot of guys right now. I've been, of course, watching Nick Saban Jr.'s videos. And there's a lot of seems like we're going hard after the edge rushers. We're wanting experienced edge rushers. And so that's when we're talking about transfer portal here lately, in my opinion, that would be number one on our list is edge rushers, defensive linemen, edge rushers with experience. So I could see us going after those guys from Texas A&M. They got a couple of them. There's a kid at University of Texas, San Antonio that's, man, got 20-something sacks. I mean, he's a superstar. I don't think he's an every down player. His ability in the run game is not quite what I like, but he'd be a specialty guy. Somebody you pin your ears back on third and long kind of cat. And who's to know he don't get better when he gets to Alabama because you get an elite coaching. You get in that Alabama weight room, bulk up a little bit, get good coaching. He may end up being an every down player. So, there's a lot of people. If y'all not paying attention right now, y'all better be paying attention because, man, it's going nuts.
Well, we're going to lose Dallas Turner this year.
Oh, yeah.
And I always say every beginning of the year, all this talk is going on, practices this and that. I always want to know who that guy is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about, that guy. Yeah.
Terry Moore is a kid from UTSA I was just talking about. Man, he is a fire starter in the pass rush game. Fantastic player.
That's what we need. And that's what I was trying to get at this year. Who was going to be that guy? That usually you got one maybe, and there's usually somebody that's like a JUCO player or something like that that's on the team as a special guy. That come in on third downs and do a pass rush either off the edge or up the middle, and those guys are the ones I really love to watch play.
That kind of leads me into another topic right here. If you were to name 5 key positions or spots that Alabama should go after in the transfer portal right now, what would you think necessarily? I've already stated number one to me would be edge rusher, defensive lineman. Get some experienced guys that's done it at a high level and get them into our system, But what about you? What are you thinking right now? Do you think we need to go after receivers? Our kicker's leaving, obviously.
Yeah.
Cornerback, we could possibly be losing some big time players in secondary. We got some great young guys, but Saban likes that experience at corner.
Well, you can't get experience if you just keep them sitting on the bench by getting in transfer portals. You recruited them for a reason. You know what I mean? So they got to grow. So I would say, position wise, well, you already mentioned kicker. We need a good one there. Quarterback, I believe Kool-Aid's last year, if I'm thinking right.
Carry on Arnold, let's be honest. He's graded a top 15 player right now.
But he's staying.
Did he announce he's staying?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Does he not have one more year?
He may have one more year, but I don't see it. He may be leaving money on the table staying right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, that could be. Well, I would still say then you probably need 2 corners, at least. I believe Amos is the one that comes in and replaced behind Kool-Aid, I believe. He done a fine job, I thought.
I actually like his physicality better than Kool-Aid's. He's handsy. He's handsy right there on the line. If he's pressing in man coverage, he gets physical with him, in that 5-yard buffer. He shadowed him. He shadowed some Georgia players really well. I like what I've seen out of him.
Now, I would like to see someone else that could at least complement Caleb Downs. I would like to see that.
And we've got some there again. We've got so many 5-star guys across the board that's just sitting there waiting. I'll tell you, I like JoJo Earl that was hurt and didn't really get to play this year. We've got guys that are back there that we know are dogs, but sometimes we like to bolster and bring guys in, kind of like a Tyler Buckner situation, a guy with experience to come in. It helps the whole group when you got experience.
Yeah, they all need to learn how to play lacrosse.
When we're starting our lacrosse show, by the way.
The linebacker Overton from Texas A&M, Justin DeBobie, I'm sure is who he's talking about. There's somebody else. I'm gonna go ahead and bring Coach Dude on here, and then I'll finish this up. There was what other? Hey, Coach. What other position that I would like to see get improved on is the tight ends. So far, the tight ends was not what I call either utilized or I just like to see a little bit more out of them, especially crossing the middle. That's my opinion, and maybe doing something else, sneaking behind the lines, especially at goal line stands and such. I'd like to see a little bit more. I don't know if it's them or if we need more talent there. I don't know.
Did you see that right there? The NSJ just put 5-star Edric Houston from Buford over in Georgia was on campus in Tuscaloosa for an unofficial visit. See, he's been committed to Ohio State for quite a while. He's a hell of a player. And for him to come on an unofficial visit, that means he paid to come. You know what I'm saying? It's like we paid him. That's pretty telling, in my opinion. I think he sees the opportunity to come in and make a difference early with some of the guys that are leaving out this year. So keep your eyes on that one. I'm sure NSJ will be dropping videos every day, multiple times a day. So keep your eyes open for that one because that may be a surprise flip for us right there.
Well, now NSJ knows he's more than welcome to come on this show and talk recruiting, whatever he wants to talk about, be honest with you, but usually that's his expertise. But, Coach, how are you doing this morning?
Hey, I can't play with above the dirt, so I can't complain, man. That's all that matters right now. Hey, I thought we got a high shot 5-star tight end that's supposed to be coming in this class. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, real big, tall kid, like 6'4", 6'5", something like that, play tight end, but he's kind of like that hybrid where you can kind of go out wide and play wide too. So if I'm not mistaken, I know we were recruiting him real hard. I agree. The tight end, yeah, but he's not as thick and big. He just kind of like these hybrid. He kind of like 84. 84 get on my nerves. I can't think of his name, but he kind of remind you. Yeah, Black.
Dude. Yeah. No, I'm not there with you, Coach. Dude, me and you we talked about it during the Auburn game on your live. I'm not a fan, dude. Like, I see him go out there and blocking sometimes, or his supposed blocking, and but you remember that first down that he got, and it was close. But for him to not drive his face mask down and lower that shoulder and try to get that extra 2 yards,
Yeah, that's where I fell out. That's where I fell out of love with him because you had that little ass cornerback on you. It was 3rd and like 2 or some shit like that, and you tried to shake him instead of just pushing on over him. And I think the referees kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt on that spot. That was just my opinion in that game. So it's been a couple times to where if you look back and you look at it after that, you know how you have a player that might do something that you just like, oh, I can't stand you, and then you kind of look back at him. He'd be like, well, man, this little punk's been doing this the whole damn year. He ain't been blocking the whole damn year. All he wants to do is just run routes. Hey, you play tight end. It's okay to block.
Yeah. You know, some guys just want that spotlight from the from the skill position stuff they do. They don't want to get down in the trenches, get dirty. My respect always goes to the trench players because, in my opinion, football is still lost and won in the trenches. The offensive line and the defensive line controls everything. So, a guy that'll get in there and get his nose dirty, per se, and then go out and make a big catch and use his athleticism, that's a rare guy. But you can make some real money at the next level if you start developing that now.
So what happened with CJ? What's his last name? Dupree? What? The kid that came from Maryland. What happened with him this year?
Honestly, I think he had like 170 something yards this year, receiving. But there's a lot of people saying he might be a day 2 pick if he comes out right now, even with his little film as he has.
Brittany B over here says she loves Robbie Oots. I do too.
Yeah,
but
who Robbie reminds me of? Robbie, I don't know how far back y'all been watching. Robbie reminds me of Dustin McClintock back in the mid to late 90s that played at Alabama. It was a fullback, man. That's who he reminds me of. That dude played reckless abandonment. He didn't care about all the accolades of catching, receiving, running, none of that. He wanted to go out there and dominate guys in front of him. And he really reminds me of that guy a lot. He was one of my favorite players to watch growing up.
Well, let me ask you this, guys. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, who was the number 4 after Lacey left? We had number 45 that played the H-back, fullback position, and that was a real good. It was after Nudie. It was after Nudie. I can't think of his name, man. He 45 remind me of him because they called the guy that nickname Highway 45 started up with that guy. Every time we ran behind him, we got some good ass yards or a touchdown. New 45, he remind me of him. That's why I be like, hey man, let's run behind Highway 45. Let's get behind Highway 45 because it's just he can catch. He's a perfect H back type of player for our offense. And it was like when we started utilizing him more on the motions and directions we're running behind him, and it opened the offense up.
Well, do you remember where he really had his coming out party last year was against Kansas State in that bowl game?
Right.
Him all a lot. He was making key blocks. He made some pancake blocks in the red zone to spring some guys open. Gibbs getting the end zone, He was sealing the ends off. I mean, he was working. So I had high hopes to see a lot of him this year after that bowl game. And I seen him selectively, but we've seen more of Black because of his athletic ability, I believe. And probably possesses a better skill set in the passing game. But I don't know, man. Black is just one of them guys where I remember hearing that he would be on like Instagram live after the game, just kind of building his brand, win or lose. Didn't matter. And I ain't about them kind of guys, man. It's the kind of guys that need to go to Colorado. You don't go to Alabama to be selfless like that. You know what I'm talking about, Coach Dude. They want to build a brand. They don't want to build a winning season. He knows what I'm saying. But, we've still got Danny Lewis Jr. too back there.
Yeah, true. I forgot about Danny. Little Danny. Yeah, that's true. Will he stay?
Who knows? I mean, you got to think he probably will, but you can't even guess it no more. You really can't. It ain't like it was 10 years ago. You really don't know. I mean, people look at we look at the transfer portal, and there's a lot of ways to look at the transfer portal. I look at it like this. 2 weeks ago, there were 1,400 Division I guys in the transfer portal. Do you know how many of them guys are going to disappear? We'll never hear these guys again.
At least 800.
Yeah, at least. There's a high – we only look at like wow, look, Joe Burrow won a Heisman. He was a transfer. Jaden Daniels won a Heisman. He was a transfer. You know, guys like Baker Mayfield was a transfer.
Right.
He won a Heisman. That's what we look at. We look at the very top, but we don't look at all this underneath of really good, serviceable guys who could have stayed in the system 2 or 3 years and maybe transferred then, but build a solid foundation or stay and wait your time and develop your skill set. And when you come out, you're on fire. And that we just look at the success stories. We don't look at all the guys that get lost in it. And that's my
Do you
problem
think
with it.
Des Moines Kennedy would have kind of wish he would have how can I say it? He wish he would have made a better decision.
Yes.
Because he left thinking playing time and thinking this and thinking that, this and that. Him and the cornerback. Cornerback left too, went out there. Both of those kids went out there, and if they would have stayed at Bama, both of those kids would have been rotational pieces, good key pieces this year, and could have been starting, towards the end of the season or having their lock into the starting position next year. So I agree with you. Sometimes the grass is not green on the other side.
Well, look at the changes in coordinators this year and how we approached football was different than the last 2 years. We built a lot of rotational depth this year. A lot of those guys, had they stayed, might have played. And if you play at a high level and you get out there and prove yourself, you may be the starter soon. You know what I'm saying? We've seen Saban move some guys around in the past. It's not above him to just say, all right, this guy's a starter and he's going to stay in. No. He's always looking around the corner. Who's proving themselves behind the scenes in the weight room, on the practice field? There's guys that work their way up by, having a work ethic.
Then just look at the injuries. Just look at with the linebackers. Look at how Lawson was banged up so much this year. Him and Des Moines play the same they play the same position. They're the same. They were the same type of players coming out of high school down here in Bill County. So I'm looking at it like that. Okay, Lawson gets hurt. Hey, Kennedy, Des Moines, you could have been slid right in there, but you left and went to the quote unquote greener pastures, because it's really the greener. It's not plain. It's really greener pastures, and it didn't work out that way for you. And so now you lost a whole year of game film. So I'll just look at it like that too, though. It's a double-edged sword. I always tell people it's a double-edged sword when it comes to that transfer portal, because you can be like JoJo.
Go ahead.
You can be like JoJo. Just think, if JoJo was on the team this year, he didn't get the amount of targets and amount of yards that he thought he was going to get down at TCU. I'm not saying he could have been just that star player who's not that type of player, but at the same time, if he would have stayed at Bama, we might not have been thinking about Bund or Law, because we'd have had JoJo, things like that.
Let me ask a question, guys. I'm sitting here reading Nick Saban Jr. The percentage of kids that don't get picked up is going to be higher than the percentage that do. How does one respond to a guy that puts his name into the transfer portal and basically doesn't really get that opportunity to transfer like he had hoped for? Does he come back to the team, or does he just stay out there? What happens there? And if he stays on with the team, how does your teammates respond to something like that?
I can't speak for everybody, but I know how I would look at him if I was on the team. I'm like, oh, you quit on us, couldn't go nowhere, and now you just want to come back and play? Nah. Yeah. You'd be ostracized from the locker room, in my opinion. And that what he said right there makes so much sense to me. Like the percentage, and look what it's doing to high school recruiting. There's more emphasis right now by a lot of coaches being put on guys that are first, second, third year guys that are jumping school to school every single year until they think they'll find a fit. And maybe you need to go and put in the work somewhere and establish yourself. It's not that you ain't talented, but your skill set's not matching your athleticism, and you're jumping school to school, and every single year you're looking for a new place to go because you're not getting established anywhere. And like the high school kids that are coming out, less emphasis is being put on those guys now by a lot of coaching staffs, and it's hurting high school recruiting because of transfer portals.
If you're a 3-star, you might as well forget about Power 5. Forget about Power 5. I'm just being honest. If you're like
look at a Utah. They'll go out and take a team full of 3-stars and out physical 95% of anybody in college football right now because they get kids that want to come and play at Utah. And they'll stick and they'll work and they do a lot of rotational depth. I mean, look at them. They played with a third-string quarterback half the season. They would have probably won their conference had they have been healthy this year. We all seen it. They went out and dominated Florida. They were pushing teams around. And, I mean, so that their coach don't get enough praise, in my opinion, because he gets kids that want to play for him. And he don't worry about that star rating. He goes after the guys that fit what he wants to do, mindset and skill set.
True. That is a big fact. That is with certain coaches, certain coaches like with Utah, man, his philosophies and Coach Sanders' philosophy is totally different. Like with schools like Colorado, like USC, and like Ole Miss, those three are the schools that everybody kind of call the transporter kings. But look at what they're on the field success. Like, I understand Ole Miss won 10 games this year. Congratulations. But it won't happen next year. See what I'm saying? Things like that. Then you never know. So one year you might get a good group of transfers. Then the next year you're gonna bum out. So your staff, your depth, what you're trying to really build so you can be a successful, sustained program is not there because of you're looking for assassins every damn year.
That's right. It's sad to me because we're building absolutely no depth. There's no trust between players and coaches. There's a lot, and it's not to say that the transfer portal can't be successful. Jamar Gibbs for us was fantastic. You can go down the list of guys that have transferred to Alabama and done well. But I feel like it hurts high school guys a lot coming in because they put their trust in that program and think, well, if I put the work in, I may get this chance to play. Well, not anymore because we'll just go out and go find a 4 or 5-star used-to-be guy that, didn't like what was going on in his program or his head coach left and he don't want to stay. And they'll just come there and I don't know, man. It's hard to say. By the way, shout out. What's up, Nick Saban Jr.? How you doing, brother?
What's going on, man? Going on, Code Dude?
Well, hey, let me say this. Hey, man, but just look at how many Alabama players since, let's just say 2015. Let's just use 2015 to now. Look at how many Alabama players has transferred away from the university and has been lost and have been disappeared, and you have never heard nothing from them at all. You like, hey, or some of them, you got a couple of them that might succeed, like a Frank Gore. You have a couple of them that you're like, okay, they went off to their little schools and did good, but the majority of them, man, they disappear and you never hear from them again. Just like I said, look at TCU boys, the Brockmeyer kid twin and JoJo, and my man played running back Trey. Yep. Just think about it. If Trey would have stayed this year, Trey would have. Oh my God!
Listen, I bring up the point all the time. Keelan Robinson. Remember Keelan Robinson, his freshman year, he was that guy. Like he was gonna be the dude next up. COVID happened. I respect everybody's decision with the COVID stuff, so he opted out. What happens? He get pushed down the depth chart, so he comes back. Now you ain't even getting the looks at Alabama. You transfer to Texas. Now you getting featured more, but still, you were still like the third string running back coming into this season. Like, you would have been you would be in the NFL right now. If you never would have opted out and stayed at Alabama, he'll be in NFL right now. Right now, he'll be in the fourth string.
He was the fourth string.
Well, let's be realistic. I pay a lot of attention to the NFL, especially the draft and stuff like that. And I've seen guys go, the third day guys, the 6th, 7th round guys. I've seen Alabama guys go before that we never seen start at Alabama, just based off of name recognition, practice film, and the program they went through, and they still got drafted. These guys y'all are naming. When they transferred, they disappeared. You didn't see them in the NFL no more. You didn't hear about them getting drafted. You didn't hear about them getting picked up after the draft in some type of free agency way. They just disappeared, man. And so, in my opinion, I would rather stay at a high-level school with the best coach of all time, learn my craft, trust in the process, and wait my turn. And if I'm good enough, I will play. There's no bias there. If you're good enough, you're going to play, dude. It don't matter. It don't matter about your last name. Nothing matter at Alabama except are you the best guy available? That's all that matters. That's why we win.
Cam Sims, he went as an undrafted free agent, but he was starting for the Commanders. I don't know where he at now. I don't know if he's still with the Commanders, but when he first got in, the Commanders.
Yes.
So, and he went undrafted, and you like, dang, I wouldn't even thought he would have made it to the league, honestly, for real. But yeah, you're right. He
had a good quarterback in that time period. Cam may have had a better start to his career than he already did. Because I mean, he possessed something you can't coach. 6'5", 220, but still ran a sub 4.40. Come on, man. You can't teach that. I don't care what you coach. You cannot teach size and speed.
Nope.
So let me ask y'all this. What about Ja'Cory? Y'all think Ja'Cory Brooks is going to be successful at Louisville?
They better get a better quarterback. They better get better quarterback play. That's what I'm saying.
They just picked up a transfer. I can't think of the guy name. They just picked up them a transfer quarterback from out the portal too. Also, he wasn't he not one of them hot shots, them big the upper echelon guys. But they just picked up somebody, if I'm not mistaken.
And with that, he better stop dropping them passes as well, bro.
That's the problem. That's the problem. A lot of people don't understand. The kid already had stone hands, and he's not a willing blocker. You got to be a willing blocker, and if you're not a willing blocker, you better catch everything thrown to you. You better catch him with your dang on fingernails. He is not.
People realize that what made Judy, Ruggs, Devontae Smith them so good as well, because they was willing blockers when they wouldn't get the ball. That's what made that group so successful in the wide receiver room, man.
Well, look at those guys. How selfless were they? We were stacked 5-6 deep at wide receiver, dude. They all stayed. Yes, they all stayed and put in the work. I mean, Devontae Smith wins a Heisman. I mean, come on.
And then Smitty wasn't starting.
By the way, all this transfer portal talk, he won a Heisman. Bryce won a Heisman. And, in the last 7 years, both guys have won a Heisman. Only 2 players that hadn't transferred to another school, by the way.
Yep. Facts.
Hey, wow, that's a good one there. I didn't even think about that one. You're right.
Yeah, that is true. 100% true.
Damn. Yeah, because all the quarterbacks was transferred besides Bryce.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Smitty was the only non-quarterback that had won in the last couple of years. So damn, so all right. Damn, that's crazy. But just like I said, the transfer portal has been around forever. It's more knowledgeable, more talked about now. Because I remember when we were talking about it, and I had brought up the Troy Aikman. When he had transferred from Oklahoma to UCLA, it's been around forever. The only thing different is now kids don't have to sit out. And one thing I can't stand about the transfer portal, we were talking about it last night with Icebox and AT. It's the timing. They should at least start it in January. From January through February, that recruiting period. It should be a dead period for high school and nothing but college transfer portal for the month of January. But in the month of January, a grown man, because they're grown men, even though they're kids, they're making grown man decisions. You should be able to make up your mind.
Not mentally, but physically, they are grown men. Sure. Yeah.
You should be able to make up your mind within that damn month. You should, especially with because they got agents now. They have agents, they have representatives. So you should be able to make up your damn mind within that damn month and then turn it to the high school kids for the month of February. That takes out a lot of this, because I was telling Icebox last night. If you look at bowl games, look at the bowl games from yesterday and coming up. A lot of the bowl games will be dastardly looking at because of the competition. They're not there. You don't have your second string quarterback. You don't have your third string quarterback. You don't have your second string running back because everybody's in the transfer portal. So
Dante Moore was gone. Then Boise State quarterback, he gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I brought that up last night. Look, hey Nick, I was like, man, Boise State starting quarterback is actually practicing with Arkansas. He lifting weights with Arkansas now. You see what I'm saying? So, and for a head coach, because I was watching God, what's that man name? They used to be on Netflix, the Netflix show, The Last Chance U, Coach JB.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
love Coach JB, man.
I was
Yes,
watching
sir.
his show. And they were talking about it, how he talked to coaches, and the coaches was like, man, we don't even know who's gonna be on our roster for bowl games. You know, we're scrambling to put up a roster for just a bowl game because you got at least 20 to 30 damn players either opting out or in the portal for a bowl game. So it kind of throw it off.
That's why, to me, what you said was important. And I didn't mean to jump in front of you, NSJ. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's why I think what you said was important. There should be a dead period somewhere, but I think it should be before the high school kids come in. That way, it might help their decision making because they're suffering from this, in my opinion. You know, and you got. We're talking about we got all these bowl games, and there's way too many bowl games. It's just about money and $1,000. There's way too many damn bowl games. I'm sorry, 6-6 is a mediocre season. I don't care what league you're in. I don't care who you played against. 6-6 is mediocre, and to me, you don't go to a bowl game at 6-6. I don't consider that breaking even ain't winning.
Hey, I got a question. And it's serious. If I'm a high school kid being recruited by any school that I'm looking at, and you telling me that the transfer portal, all this is going to depend on who you get out of the transfer portal if I get that scholarship, how do you think a kid their age feels about, you know, if you got January, you got your bowl games going on, and what is it, signing days somewhere in February, if I remember correctly, on these high school recruits. Is it fair to these high school kids to have to sit there and wonder and wait and watch to see what happens in the transfer portal for them to make their decisions on which school they want to go to? Or do you think the transfer portal should wait till after signing day before it actively kicks in?
Hey, let me go first. We got to look at it like this. It's two different for high school kids. You got the December early period, and then you got the February period. So I honestly, I think they should stop with the December period. Either it's one of the two. It's either make it December period and forget about the February period, or forget about the December period and go with the February period. They got to drop one of them because that December period you're going against the transfer portal kids. And right now, just think about it, you got a lot of coaches. Like I brought up Lane Kiffin, Coach Sanders, and Coach Riley. They're more oriented on the college kids, so they don't care nothing about the high school kids at all. So they have to regulate of which one. It's either pick one. You got to either do the December and then let everything be transfer portal after that, or transfer portal first, then that. But either way go, that's just like we were talking about the JUCO kids. The JUCO kids are now they're gone now. That's just, you might well just say that's irrelevant. That's for the JUCO football now is for the lower the D2 1AA type of schools now, unfortunately, or a group of 5. But I just think the NCAA gonna have to really sit down and really come up with a really strategic plan on this, because if it's for the kids, you're hurting kids at the same time.
Agree. I agree totally. I was just sitting there thinking, what about these other kids? You know, everybody else is talking about Neil and they're after money. And I'm gonna tell you like this. I heard y'all a while ago. It's kind of like you got good versus evil type stuff. Either you go for the money or you're there for the coaching and for the football team. Most people are picking the wrong way to go, and it's costing them in the long run. And I don't know how you take away that temptation of the Neil money versus your quality play, your learning, your progression, your how do I put it? It's right there at the tip of my tongue. Your progress, you're working on your skills. You know what I'm saying? Where you could actually be a better football player, say quote, for the NFL. But there again, I'm going back to the high school kids. If I'm playing and then I've got Alabama looking at me, but I'm sitting here wondering, am I really going to get a chance to play because some kid from Texas or Texas A&M wants to transfer to Alabama in a position that I would like to work for. Which way am I going to go? What is a kid to think is what I'm getting at.
I think a lot of that plays into why Coach Saban recruits the guys he does. Yes, we'll end up a lot of times with a top 3 recruiting class, most of the time the number 1 recruiting class. But I think he goes after a certain skill set, a certain mindset, more importantly. I think he gets in with these high school coaches and the way he talks to them. I think he wants to know this kid's mentality. Is he a guy that's going to quit on a team? Is he just about his numbers? You know, is he just about this? That's why Alabama's had sustained success for going on 17 years now, close to it, because of the type of guys we bring in. And Alabama stays ahead of the curve no matter how college football seems to change every few years. Saban's always ahead of the curve. And if I'm a kid coming out of high school, I want to play for a guy like that. He has your best interest at heart, the team's best interest at heart, and he's never going to get left in the dark, and you're not going to be at a program that's 2 to 3 years behind in NIL, the way they look at NIL or transfer portal or anything else, like a Clemson, the way Clemson has fallen off because their coach refuses to change his mindset and grow and adapt with the times. Saban's ahead of the curve. And that's something I would look at coming out of high school. Is this a guy I wouldn't want to go to a flash in the pan coach, a new hire, hadn't been established. You don't know anything about what he's going to do here. Is he using this job as a stepping stone to somewhere else? You got to worry about all these things coming out of high school. And that mentality, you don't have that mentality when you're 17, 18 years old. You're not thinking about a lot of this. Some guys are mature enough to do it. I wouldn't have been, I can tell you. But, I mean, that's a thing that doesn't get talked about enough. Like the guy that we played this year at Middle Tennessee State, their coach, he's getting let go this year. And I think that's a mistake.
Yeah.
They need to realize kind of what they are. You're never going to be a power school. You're never going to be looked at like the Alabamas, the Georgias, what have you. That's just not what y'all are. And I'm sorry, that sounds sad to me, and people can think I'm bad for saying that. You're never going to be an elite program. He had built a sustained winner. He had put guys in the NFL, and you let him go after 18 years. If I had been a 3-star guy coming out of high school and couldn't get to an Alabama or a Georgia or somewhere like that, I would have loved to play for a coach like that. He's going to develop your skill set. You're going to be on a winning program, and he's going to be there. So all this jumping around ain't just players, it's coaching too. There's so much high school kids have to worry about. And now you add the wide open transfer portal. You don't have to sit a year no more. So now I may sign with a school, and now they just signed a guy that's a humongous quarterback. I was coming in to work in and hoping to get to play within a couple of years. And now you're just bringing a guy in that was a freshman last year and had success at Arizona or something. They're going to bring him, fast-track him in right ahead of me.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
We've put so much on these high school kids, man, and that's what college football was built around, and we're leaving it behind.
Junior, there is so much going on right now with the transfer portals. How hard is it on you, brother? I know it's got to be tough. I mean, it's like one day this, one day that, every day.
Say it again. Say it one more time for me.
I want to know how hard it is. Right now, it's got to be tough. Not only recruiting going on, but you got the transfer portal going on. It's enough to make your head spin. How are you able to stay up with all this? Man,
that shit hard. Like, I'm literally on my phone 24 hours a day. I'm literally waking up through the night trying to keep up information. I'm trying to keep up with the whole SEC, but it's just so much just at Bama going on right now. Like, there's so much going on. Like, I can guarantee you, I can probably look up something probably happening right now as I speak. I guarantee you. It feels crazy. Like, I don't even know how the coaches are juggling all this. Honestly, like, I give it up to the coaches that can handle all this stuff, because it's so many moving pieces as we speak. I do videos. The videos I've been putting out, soon I get out the video, I go look up some stuff and some more crap to happen. I'm like, God dang it. I could have used this in this video. But some more shit didn't happen. Like, I don't know, man. It's hard. I'm going to tell you that now. It's hard.
I felt for you. I felt for you. I really do. It's kind of like you said. You watch one video, next thing you know, something changes, and within 5 minutes, and now you got somebody else in the transfer portal. And that's what I say against these other high school kids. I wouldn't know what in the world to think or do. Or, have y'all even heard that Carson Beck is asking for $4 million?
I heard about that.
Wow.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to speak on it, but I'm letting this Georgia situation. I'm letting this whole thing play out, and I'm gonna tell you, if there's any Georgia fans, honestly, I wouldn't even trip about all this going on because realize they are about to sign a number one recruiting class. They are about to sign a number one recruiting class. Honestly, if I were them, I wouldn't trip. But my kick to Georgia is. What makes Nick Saban so well is how he's able to adapt and move around all this. Can we see Kirby make those same things and stay relevant? That's my interesting thing about it. But if I'm a Georgia fan, I would.
Because with the established success that Georgia's had over the last few years, and now they'll be constantly dealing with coaching changes. And now that college football, the wave of college football is changing constantly. And the rules are changing constantly. And we're going to see it. I think Kirby's as good a coach as there are out there, but let's see how well they keep up. I had not heard, by the way, the $4 million rumor. Had not heard that at all. Now, I heard that quarterback that they were going to get was possibly going to flip to Nebraska. I don't know if that was ever finalized.
I really think we're going to hear something within the next 24 to 48 hours. I really think we're gonna hear something about that. I think it's official. He just hasn't said it yet. But I could be wrong though.
Well, here's what I'm looking at. Number one recruiting class.
If you honestly ask me, and you know I watch this stuff, Dylan Raiola, he good, but I think they got the dude Ryan. It's another quarterback that got signed in the class. I think he's the quarterback for Georgia. What I mean, he's somebody that's gonna come in, be patient, be willing to develop, and end up being that dude in the future for you. Versus a Raiola, they come in. Those type of quarterbacks come in with this type of feel, this attitude that I need to be the guy now. You know what I'm saying? But the other guy that got coming in, I think he could be actually the guy for Georgia in the future.
Well, I always tend to believe that, look at Jimbo Fisher. He got the number one recruiting class for several years, done nothing with it. Nothing. Of course, Kirby Smart's a little bit, to me, a better coach than that because he kind of stays within what he was taught from Alabama. But number one recruiting don't mean nothing anymore. Not to me. Especially when you got transfer portals going on left and right. It don't count as your recruiting. If I'm thinking right. So you could basically, we'll look at, Deion Sanders. He's hitting the transfer portal hard again. He's building another team, basically, just like he did this year.
Well, he's got the number one tackle coming out of high school this year, and he's hitting the transfer portal, getting offensive line there. He's trying to build, at the offensive line because that was a big weakness they had this year. And, he's building a complete different, half of a team right now. As we speak,
and it won't show up on as what kind of recruiting class it is. He may have the 50th recruiting class, but look what he's doing with the transfer portal.
But what we're going to see out of that is what Deion and his staff and what staff he puts together going forward, what they get out of these guys that come there. Just because they're the number one tackle out of high school means diddly shit, man. And they got to go in and learn and play at that next level. It's a big difference, and bringing in guys that have already been coached up at other schools can be a detriment at times as well. As good as it can be, it can also be negative. It can impact your locker room. They may disagree with your style of coaching once they get there. There's a lot of things that can play off of this. We've seen it happen to other schools.
Yeah.
Like I say, what I know to Coach Prime. Listen, I think he'll be all right. But what I start saying later on in the thing, are you going to be able to develop these guys? Not just get them in, because you're going to have to start developing. You're going to he's going to have to start coaching. And just because you get the number one tackle in the country. Hey, we got Caden Proctor, but we seen Caden Proctor had to be developed. We seen him had to progress through the year. Are you going to be able to do that with Seton if he comes in with those problems, or do you just throw him into let's go get the other number one got the transfer portal or the recruiting cycle, or do you develop him? Do you take the time to develop him?
You hit on that 100% with Proctor, because we seen some of his struggles early, but they kept working with him and they kept trying to change things and kind of put him in a position to grow and not mentally mess him up where he can't develop further. And that's where we're going to see whether, you know, Deion Sanders going forward is more of a coach, or is he just a high level recruiter?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And Coach Deed, I know you want to jump in on this. He doesn't
Yes,
give me that.
We said the magic word. We said Colorado. Guys, I'm gonna back out for a minute. I'll be right back. Y'all go right ahead.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, you know, I've been looking at their transfer portal pick. I'm gonna say this: that the kid that they got from G, the lineman, I'll give him that. He's kid from Houston. He's a big guy. You know, they got some big guys. They bringing in some big guys, but their feet, like if you look at them, they're not that good. They okay.
Thank you. I've watched the kid from Houston's tape too, and I am no high level developer of football talent. I understand that, but I am not impressed with what I've seen. No disrespect to that kid.
The kid from UTEP,
and that's the point I bring up. Like, I seen it with this year. It started being like a coaching, but now, okay, you bringing these guys in, but can you develop these guys? When they start going through the storm, are you going to be able to develop these guys, or you just talk a good game and getting them there? You know what I'm saying?
The kid from UConn, you going to get a kid from UConn. That offense was terrible. I'm sorry. You're going to get a kid from Indiana who offense was terrible. They couldn't run the ball, couldn't pass the ball, couldn't do none of this. See what I'm saying? You get 1 5-star and a bunch of 2 3-stars to protect your 5-star. I don't understand. Kind of a little to me, but
they're making the jump to the Big Ten this year, right? Correct?
Yeah, they're going to the Big 12 next year.
So they're going to be playing better defense this year, right?
And now this is the thing, bro. I mean, excuse me, man. Some people say that the Pac-12 was a better conference, and I'm like, how? The Pac-12 was top heavy with Washington and Oregon. I give you that, but everybody got them fucking feeders. So and they hyping that crap up like, ooh, they're going to the Big 12. They're gonna have a dogfight against West Virginia. Let's not act like West Virginia is not a decent football program. See what I'm saying? Let's not act like Kansas is not just a basketball program anymore. They're playing football. Kansas State is have been a decent program for a long time now. So
Kansas have got some great coaches right now, man. They've got some great coaches, some great position coaches. Like both Kansas and Kansas State, they're working on something.
Hey, shout out to Jonathan Wallace, my cousin, the running back coach for Kansas. Shout out to him.
I've heard his name mentioned in conversations and other shows before, man. People talk about him a lot. That's what I'm saying. These position coaches, they're developing something at these two schools right here. And now that your Oklahomas and Texases are leaving and going somewhere else, they're probably going to grow. Yeah, they're not going to have to be as hard for recruits and things like that, because the SEC is going to just be, there's so many programs going to be battling for scraps right now. I know what they were trying to do long term, but I just think this may hurt college football yet. We may see some programs on the rise start backsliding real hard with some of these moves to other conferences. That's just how I feel. Like, look at Oklahoma right now. Are you keeping up with what's going on in Oklahoma?
They in for a rude awakening when they come to the SEC.
The quarterback league. They're losing offensive linemen left and right. They're losing some.
Right.
Man,
Dylan Gabriel gone.
At the beginning of this year, I thought, man, Oklahoma, they'll come in and they'll be competitive, sure. I don't know. They're starting over.
Hey, that's why I give props to
In a
Sarkisian.
better conference.
That's why I give props to Sarkisian, because when Sarkisian found out Texas was coming to the SEC, he automatically started building and recruiting for the SEC. Now they look like they can compete in the SEC. They built to compete in the SEC. And Oklahoma wasn't doing that. They, even though I'm gonna say this, they went through a coaching change, but Lincoln Riley wasn't gonna do that no way. He wasn't gonna do that neither.
Lincoln Riley, you know, he wakes up every morning. He is so happy he ain't in Oklahoma no more. When he looks at their schedule for next year, he ain't ready for all that smoke. Lincoln Riley don't want none of that.
Hey, that's why he dodged the LSU job when they wanted to give it to him. He ain't want that. He ain't want no part of LSU.
I think LSU made the better hire anyway myself, but
I'd
much rather have Brian Kelly. I used to give Brian Kelly his props because it is really hard to recruit at Notre Dame at a high level with the way they have to, their academic status and the way that you have to have a certain GPA to even qualify at Notre Dame, plus be a high level athlete, the way they competed under Brian Kelly and the way he had them constantly in the conversations as one of the best colleges for 10 years there. He's a good coach. You don't have to like him with personality, and he can be a little fake at times with a little southern drawl, or out here dancing with recruits that go to Alabama anyways. But anyway, but he's a good coach. I ain't gonna take nothing away from him.
Yeah, fact. I agree. I give it to him. I do give him that.
I realized the other box is your box.
Guys, I got a question for you. Going after this year, we're going to the 12-team playoff, and I heard rumors, with the tough schedule that the SEC is handing out to every team on here. Hang on a second. With everybody that the SEC will be playing, it's going to be a tough schedule all the way around. No more cupcake schedules, And I heard a guy say something about, don't be surprised that you will see 10-2 teams down there around the 12, 11, 10 spot, stuff like that. And don't be surprised that you will have a SEC team that will be defeated, that won't have that perfect record. So don't be surprised at that, but they will be in the 12-team playoffs. How do you feel about that kind of stuff? You could have.
With that being said, don't be surprised if that 2-loss team, they're probably down in the 11 and 12 spot in making a run for the national championship. Don't be surprised that team in the national championship.
If we would have had a 12-team playoff this year, there would have been a debate because LSU was sitting at 13? There would have been a debate between them 12 and 13. LSU had 3 losses?
Yeah.
Alabama, Ole Miss, and Florida State. And I believe they could have went in that playoff and played nearly anybody to the bell. Ole Miss would have been in that playoff. A 2-loss Ole Miss was as dangerous as anybody in the country. They were as dangerous as anybody.
Let's bring up this. Remember the year we played Michigan when Matt Jones started that year? We was ranked number 12 that year. What if they had a 12-team playoff that year? Alabama would have won the national championship that year. Well, I ain't gonna say take that back, not one, but we would have played LSU and we'd probably been in the top 4. That's what I'm gonna say. Put it that way. I ain't gonna say we would have won, but
that was the year that LSU won the national championship, right?
Yeah, don't I say take that back because LSU was crazy.
I mean, you think about it. If Tua don't get hurt and gimped up and fumbled near the goal line, we had LSU beat. We were going in for the go-ahead.
Yep.
And this is a team that a lot of people say is the most talented, greatest college football team of all time. Alabama took them to the bell, and the quarterback got hurt and fumbled. I mean, look at 2010. We were the greatest 10-win team I've ever seen in my entire life. Julio Jones. We had Greg McElroy back for his senior year. We had Mark Ingram. We had Trent Richardson. We had Eddie Lacy. The team was so stacked on both sides of the ball. Marcel Darius. We had guys on both sides of that ball and went out and crapped the bed against South Carolina. That game should have never went the way it went. Momentum swing and Cam Newton being Superman got us beat against Auburn. And we went out and beat number 6 Michigan State, 52-7 or something. It was crazy. If it would have been a 12-team playoff that year, Alabama would have been in the title hunt.
Yeah.
Here's something else for you to look at. You're going to have your blue bloods, Michigan, Ohio State. I kind of dread to throw Penn State in there unless they do better. You're going to have your USCs. It's people that have easier schedules. Okay, they're not going to have the same kind of schedule that the SECs is going to have. It's going to be a dogfight, but it makes for better games.
Oh, Big Ten got a lot tougher. They just got a lot tougher from top to bottom.
Did they?
They got a lot tougher. Well, your USCs, like you just said, your Oregons, teams like that are combining. Both conferences are not used to having to play a tough schedule from week 1 to week 12. Now they're going to have to because you're getting the best of this conference and the best of this conference combined. Yep. It's going to be interesting. It really is.
I kind of see that it's just kind of they got to prove it to me.
Yes.
You know, they're going to have easier schedules to me. In other words, they may have teams that's 12-0, but are they really that good? You see where I'm going at? I mean, you play Texas, LSU, the Georgias, all of them that we're going to be everybody's going to be playing now. Some are going to end up with losses, 11-1s.
You know how hard it's going to be undefeated in either one of those conferences next year? Mm-hmm. Because if we had a 12-team playoff right now, you would have 6 SEC teams in it, 5 Big Ten teams in it, and 1 outlier in the ACC, and that's Florida State. That's how it would have broke down. So 6 from our conference, 5 from their conference, because Oregon would have been a Big Ten member. Washington would have been a Big Ten member. So you would have had 6 SEC, 5 Big Ten, and 1 ACC team. It's going to be really, if a team comes out of either one of them conference unscathed, undefeated, they'll be taken serious, I think.
Okay. Yep. Well, I'm just kind of curious to see how it's going to work out because I heard that, and it's very true. I mean, you talk about more beatings, and you know what I'm talking about. You play tough teams, you walk out with injuries, whether it be bruised thighs or, you see where I'm going with that. So you're going to have more injuries.
You take a Mississippi State, a South Carolina, a Kentucky, teams that we look at as middling SEC teams to lower end SEC teams. Any given week, they can chop you up. They can pound on you. They can beat teams. We've seen it every single year. Look at Missouri. They come out of nowhere this year with some high-level recruiting and some good transfer portal moves, and they're doing it again, by the way. They're not getting talked about enough. Missouri's making moves. That coach over there, man, that guy's doing something.
They are. I'm watching. I got my eye on this. I said, boy, this is some people off next year, boy.
Yes, they are. But you take them right now. That's a team that we don't even look at as a top SEC team like an Alabama or a Georgia or even an Ole Miss, an LSU, a Tennessee. We don't even look at Missouri like that, even though statistically they've been there. They've played in SEC championships a couple times since they've got there. And right now, their record, they played Georgia really well. They finished with a good record. A Missouri could go out in a Big Ten after you've played an Ohio State and you had to play a Missouri the next week or a Michigan. That team will beat you. They will beat you. They beat you on a good week.
Yep.
So, I mean, you think about that. Think about how hard the SEC is getting every single time. Now, you bring in Oklahoma, who did some high-level recruiting in a coach's first year last year. I know they're losing some guys, but their ability to piece things together on the fly was pretty impressive last year. They had a good year. And then Texas, God knows. I mean, and you bring in that into the SEC that's already tough like it is, man. So it's going to be the battle of two conferences. That's really what it is. You'll have some outliers in the playoffs, but it's going to be the battle of two conferences. If somebody got 2 losses in either one of them conferences, they're going to be in the playoffs.
Well, let's see here. Coach Dude, you all right now?
Yeah, I'm good. I had to do something, guys. Got daddy and husband.
Hey, we understand. When mama calls, we jump.
Yep.
You got to drop it down, you understand. No, they were talking about the playoffs. Oh man, that 12 team, you're gonna have the 13 and 14 crying. Somebody's gonna always be crying when it comes to this dang on playoffs or something always. So they're trying to stop that. But you're gonna have the Florida States of the world crying and only thing I wanted to add to that the transfer portal conversation. I think for the good coaches of the group of five programs, liberties of the world, things like that, if they do like what college basketball does and keep those guys around to those senior years and stuff like that, those teams will be good. They'll be held to playoff play in the playoffs. Because I mean, think about like college basketball, the Final Four teams from these last couple of years, the San Diego of the world and stuff like that, they were 4-year, 5-year, 6-year senior type of group of. I know it's a different sport, but it's just the experience. So where if you got some good and they keep those players, keep their recruiting cycles with them. Those group of five, like the Tulanes, because just think of Tulane. They've been good for these last couple of years because they've been a senior upperclassman team. So I'm saying, so you gotta look at it like that. I think those teams would benefit somewhat if they can keep their kids around.
I could see that. I think that's a great point. Like, look at Willie Taggart from a Tulane that you just mentioned going into Houston now. Texas is out of the way. Oklahoma is out of the way. If he can start building the foundation there like he did at Tulane, look out. Houston will be something to reckon with because we've seen high-level players come from Houston on mid-seasons. I mean, Ed Oliver's, they sent cornerbacks, quarterbacks, you name it. I mean, they've sent some real talent to the NFL and had average seasons at best. So now imagine, because of all of the, talent that's in a state like Texas. Now imagine, because Texas and Oklahoma is going to have to reach across Texas and start trying to go into Georgia and Alabama and Louisiana and Florida to recruit like us, to compete like us. So there's going to be some high-level players in Texas left behind. And a team like Houston can come up with an schedule and a coach that can build a program like Willie's done at every level. Look out for them. 2 to 3 years from now, we'll be talking about Houston making a run.
What do you think about teams like App State? They stay together. The ones that beat Michigan, and they're year after year after year, they've been a competitor. Now they're not going anywhere as far as 12-team playoffs, but who knows? But like Coach Du was saying, they've kept their players intact, good coaching, and every year they're a threat to beat you.
Every year they win 8 to 10 to 11 ball games. So they've been consistent for 15, 16 years now. They've been the program, made the jump from Division II to Division I, and now they're competing at a high level in Division I. You're exactly right, Icebox.
If the playoffs, don't they give the group of five, like for Liberty, they went undefeated this year. Wouldn't they give them a shot in the playoffs or something like that? If they're because like with the group of five, they get the BCS, the bowl game if they're long as they're in the top 15 or something like that in the voting or something, they get it. I think the group of five, if I'm not mistaken, they should a playoff qualifier or something. Those are the teams that will be dangerous. Because like you said, majority of those group of five teams, their quarterback is a 5th-year senior. The whole offensive grown ass men, 23, 24, 25-year-olds on the line. See what I'm saying? It's just the size. I understand, like with Coastal Carolina and Auburn, the size will be different, but the in the trenches, but coaching, like because we saw with New Mexico State beat Auburn this year. I just think like some of those group of five schools, like I said, if they keep them together. And I know it's hard because it's hard when you get a good player and he's very good. It's hard to keep him unless they have a good booster at the school or something. Excuse me, but I just think that if they let some of these Power 5 schools in and they have a good season, like the Liberty, of course they're not going to win it, but they might win a playoff game. You see what I'm saying? And then it brings some what they want. It'll bring some Cinderellism to the playoff system.
Well, can you imagine if you were like 2nd or 3rd place in the SEC, like a 2-loss team in the SEC, you were like 3rd place and they put you at 6th or 7th in the playoff bracket, and you had to play like a number 10 or 11 seed, like a Tulane last year that beat USC in a bowl game. If you imagine you making it through that schedule, and then your first game's a Tulane that's hungry, that wants to prove something. I'm telling you, man, it's lining up to make for some exciting football at certain times, you know, because a program that's not consistent like an Alabama or a Georgia, you know, a flash in the pan or a Johnny come lately, as you'd say, like a Washington or something, they may not be ready for a Tulane that was last year's Tulane. They might catch them.
Right.
Let me give you a good example.
That's why I get mad at the bowl games, because all these irrelevant bowl games. I like bowl season is a perfect opportunity to put matchups and scenarios together that we won't see and we're not gonna see, but we got all these irrelevant bowl games down there. Like, come on, man! This is a time for college football to capitalize ×2 during bowl season. It's gonna capitalize anyway, but we can put. Listen, LSU versus a Notre Dame at this moment. You can tell me there's not a game you went to watch. As far as Brian Kelly coming from Notre Dame, like it's so many games out there that we'll be so willing to watch that we don't get to see during bowl season because they got all this irrelevant bowl games. Like you were saying earlier, 6-6. Bro, that ain't cutting it, bro. That is mediocre at best. You are 500, sir. Like, no.
I think what the 12-team playoff is trying to achieve. Just think about Gonzaga and the basketball.
Yeah.
They were your Cinderellas, and they come up through the ranks and played some fine basketball. I know I watched them, and they're still kind of relevant. They're just not as much as they were. But that's what I think the NCAA is looking for, is somebody out there that can compete. Let's say Liberty. We don't know. We don't know what they could do to say somebody else and work their ranks up. Do we think they would win it? We don't know. But if they did, what kind of story that would have made?
I'm gonna bring this up. Think about Boise State back in the day when they had Kellen Moore. I think they would have competed. I don't think many people would have really want to play Boise State at the time, but they never got the opportunity because of the BCS thing.
Well, you remember what they did to Oklahoma with the Statue of Liberty play and this, that, and the other, man. Well, I didn't mean to take the point, though, dude. But they come out and left it on the field against Oklahoma. They wanted to prove we belong with the big boys. So they were a threat. That's a dangerous team. And I think that's what Coach Dude was alluding to earlier when he was talking about it. You know, that's a dangerous program. Somebody that's been building and winning, they finally get a shot in a big bowl game or now a playoff. They're going to throw it all on the field.
Remember they came out and took out Georgia?
That was before the hot days too, though. You gotta look at it like that. Oh, everybody on Boise, nobody leave Boise. Wasn't no transfer from leaving. This, that. They were all staying ready to beat the crap out of Oklahoma that year. Like I said, I just think that it'll give a little parity to it. See what I'm saying? Because we know the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Ohio States, the Michigans of the world, they be in the playoffs. But the Tulanes, the Libs, you know, you might have a South Alabama one year might go undefeated in the Sun Belt or some shit like that and make it to the playoffs. It gives it. The only thing that it's going to help the bowl games too. And the reason why I'm going to say this, it's going to help the bowl games because a lot of those BS bowl games will be irrelevant and they won't even be existing in because you won't have the teams to. See what I'm saying? Because you got 12 slots that's already gone with the playoff system. So you only got so many 40 some bowl games. So that's 12 teams going right there. You're going to be trying to scramble and scram to where now those the advertisements and the market is going to be like, man, why am I even putting my money into the GoDaddy.com bowl or the Birmingham Bahamas bowl or some shit like that? I don't even have to put it because you won't make no money. So I'm saying, so you're going to get rid of some of those bowl games.
Music City Bowl starring Auburn Tigers, or as I call it, the day the music died bowl. Yeah, man. Hey, I want to transition to another topic. Since I got y'all on here, I want to hear y'all's opinion on something. I don't know if y'all heard about it yet. It's been making its rounds of social media and everything. Y'all are familiar with a podcast and a YouTube show called Bussin' with the Boys, right?
Yep. I already know what you about to get at, bro. I already know what you about to get at.
One of the main stars of the show, Taylor Lewan, who was an offensive lineman for the Titans for years, good player, former Michigan alumnus. He come out and said on his show the other day, he said, we're going to 34 dive right up that ass in the Rose Bowl.
Yes.
He come out and he talked about the stuff he was saying was absolutely crazy. He said, I have watched the film of USF. So he picked, of all games, he picked South Florida, where our starting quarterback didn't even start in the game, by the way. He picks the South Florida game. And he said, I watched the film of South Florida. He said, I have watched some of these games. Let me tell you right now, if you're a Michigan fan, we have nothing to worry about. He says Michigan is better put together. Yep. They are tougher, which is hilarious. But here's my favorite point. They are stronger, and we're going to 34 dive right up that ass in the Rose Bowl. He further says they are better coached, which made me laugh out loud because he's not going to troll me like that. I know he's trying to wish. He's throwing his wishes out there and trying to make them sound confident, and it's cute. But you're not going to sit here and tell me that they're a better coached team than Alabama. And TVMA is up there. Who the fuck would say that Coach Saban isn't the greatest damn coach in all of college football history? Yes, I put him ahead of everybody, including Bear Bryant. I'm sorry. I know I wasn't around for that time, but he's done it at a different level, and rules have changed so much in the time he's been in college football, and he's always stayed ahead of it. He's the greatest coach of all time. And to sit there and say that the damn khaki princess Jim Harbaugh is a better damn coach when he's been suspended more than he's won a damn bowl game. He won a bowl game the first year he was at Michigan and ain't won one since, by the way. Been in the playoffs 3 damn times and one and done. Got his ass whooped by TCU last year, who got gapped by Georgia. Stop the bullshit, Taylor Lewan. I know you're trolling. I know that's what you're trying to do, but the hell with that. That shit's stupid. I don't troll like that. I give people respect when they deserve it, but get the hell out of here with that bullshit. Yeah. And I'm sorry to go on a rant, and I want to hear what you got to say. Everybody's got to say, but I had to get that shit off my chest, man.
No, good. Because yesterday, when I did my video, I spoke on that. I said, for one, let me rewind. Matter of fact, the dude that was on the show with him, he questioned him. He said, hold on, why you say better coach? He said, why you say better coach? Because he don't believe it. So for one, he doesn't watch Alabama football. For two, he probably didn't watch that whole game. He probably just heard about it, seen highlights, and heard how much they struggle, and left it there. And I don't expect him to watch Alabama football because he's a Michigan guy. I expect him to hype up that team. But, boy, you a football dude. You are a football guy. You know that 38 shit ain't going to cut it with Alabama. Alabama is built for that type of shit. So this leads me to go, let me start my research for this Michigan game because I'm about to do a preview and I'm going to have my Michigan guy on. So,
yes,
unfortunately, the top defenses are Penn State, number 1. Michigan, and Ohio State, number 3. On top defenses in the country. This is funny. But the offenses that they go against are fucking horrible. So it's easy to be a top defense. All over these sorry ass top defenses when they ain't playing nobody.
They played Iowa. They played Iowa in the Big Ten championship, who was expected to score 7 fucking points in the damn game. Okay, their offense is so bad that the 5 Red Devils that just won the state championship at like the 2A level here in DeKalb County would have scored more points against Michigan than fucking Iowa would, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, and I'm sorry, I'm fired up about this shit, man, but he played against Nick Saban in Alabama in 2012. He was on that Michigan team when they had Shoelace at quarterback, and when he threw a deep pass, you thought it was a bad punt. Okay, that's what it looked like. It looked like somebody had shot a duck and it was coming down at an angle because he couldn't even throw a deep ball. You remember who I'm talking about? Oh, Shoelace. Not a good quarterback. And he was part of that team when we kicked their ass opening game in 2012 and marched undefeated to a national championship when we housed Notre Dame, and Eddie Lacy spun everybody on Notre Dame's defense out of the damn cleats. He was part of the beginning of that damn season. He knows what Alabama's about. Same head coach. Ain't nothing changed but a limp. You know what I'm saying? Alabama is still Alabama, and he needs to quit this bullshit. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I had to get that out.
Listen. Iowa is the number 5 ranked defense, but get the kicker. Fucking ranked offense in the country. They're the last fucking offense in the country. What the fuck? Like, that's why I say, man, that all the first thing I said was Michigan players don't even believe they can beat Alabama. You seen their reaction? They don't even believe it.
You remember that? And they look sad as hell. They look scared. They look like somebody's fixing to hold their pockets in prison. They knew what was fixing to come. They get the prison loving. They know what's coming.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so he was talking about the South Florida game, right?
Right.
And he wasn't talking about our offense. He was talking about how they were going to quote unquote run the ball up and down the field on us, just 38 dive. Just that's what he just said. But he must have watched how South Florida couldn't get shit off on offense. Like we were sucking on offense that game. We were trash on offense, but our defense gave up what? Like our defense for the whole year has been doing what? We were the only team that kept damn Ole Miss and LSU under what, 40 points? Everybody else was getting 40, 50 hung up on their ass. Like let's just come on, man. I understand the homerism because all of us have homerism when it comes to our teams, but come on, man. Ugh.
And see what you just brought up, Coach. I talked about this with Rise Up the other day. I said, listen, I understand our offense was struggling without the starting quarterback. I said, but if you watch that game, you realize the defense, that's the game. Defense was stepped up from then on. That's the game. Defense was on and clicking. Yeah. So you talking about 38 dive, like I said, and that bring me on to my point when I said on video. Obviously, you didn't watch the whole game. You watch highlights, and you probably heard of the talks of how they struggled against. You don't, and if you don't watch Alabama football because you haven't watched the rest of the games throughout the season to be this confident about your Michigan Wolverines, a great alum. I understand that, but bro, you a football mate, you know better.
I'm about to tie two crazy comparisons together right here. That's why high-level football players most of the time don't translate to the coaching world. That's why I don't know if I trust Warren Sapp going to Colorado as great and legendary as he was, because there ain't no way he has broke down Alabama's body of work this year and said Michigan's got nothing to worry about. First of all, you can speak on Coach Saban and not even watch a ball game this year and hear Alabama's in the playoff. You could literally have not seen nothing about Alabama. When you hear Alabama, and especially Coach Saban coached Alabama, is in the playoffs and you ain't a little bit worried, get the hell out of here, man. Come on. Saban has won more championships than Michigan's coach has took them to bowl games. It's the
homerism because honestly, I look at our fan base sometimes, and when the quote-unquote players that used to play for Alabama, and when they get on certain podcasts and things like that sometimes, I'll be like, hey, man, y'all, please. You might have been a great person to play the ball. You might have ran the ball, catched the ball, blocked the ball, tackled the ball, great. But when it comes to talking the ball and talking it, you just need to stop. And it's like that. And I'm some of these guys that get paid to talk about sports and stuff, I'll be like, man, listen, man, I do this shit for free and I'm way better than you. Because, some of these guys, even on the Skip Bayless show with Michael Irvin and all them guys now, I look at that shit, I'll be like, man, y'all, just because y'all play football, that don't mean y'all know everything. And it comes, the best coaches, if you think about it, the best coaches in football are the ones that did not play it at the best high level, because of their love, their dedication, and their attention to detail to the game is different from the guys that played it. Because the guys that played, a lot of them were it was God-given natural talent. You put a little extra to it. Like Coach Sanders. Coach Sanders was just God-given natural talented abilities. He didn't have to really work that hard to be a great football player. Now he's understanding that, hey, I got to be a real good coach. And I'm not, this is total different level of expertise. I'm not a subject matter expertise in this. I might be a subject matter expertise in locking your head down at cornerback, but the coach a cornerback to coach it might be a little different. So some of these guys that get it's just a homerism in them. They don't really want to talk real football. They just want to talk their team.
Here's the point too: is when you are a high-level, elite, gold jacket-wearing member of the NFL Hall of Fame, things that come natural to you don't come natural to others, and it's hard to teach something that you didn't even have to think about. Okay, and that's what people, because they're like, oh, you can't put them down. They played at a different level than you did. Okay, they did, sure, but does it translate in the coaching world? Because that's completely different than what you were doing before.
Mm-hmm. So go back to what I said earlier about Coach Prime. It's going to get to a point where can you develop these guys? Because what you did, like you just said, what you did came natural. Now, what if it don't come natural? Now you got to work with the dude like Caden Proctor. Now you got to work with a Caden Proctor to the level you want him at.
Yes.
You do that.
Well, look at Bill Belichick in the NFL. Look at Bill Belichick in the NFL. Was he a high-level player?
Nope.
No. Nick Saban. Did he play in the NFL? No.
Nope. Nick Saban went to what? Kent State?
Yeah.
He went to Kent State. You know what I'm saying? And Kent State has always been a lower level than Ohio State and things like that. So, you know what I'm saying? And it was like in Ohio, if you didn't go to Ohio State or Cincinnati or some shit like that, you went to who, huh? Oh, man, okay, we'll see you on Saturdays type shit. But, man, I just think because I'm very critical on Colorado. I'm more critical on Colorado because of how people are. A lot of people be like, "Oh, well, he turned a 1-win team into 4 wins." And when I bring up, okay, South Florida, because we were talking about South Florida. South Florida won 1 game the year before last, and they're in the bowl game this year.
Yes, people don't want to talk about that. High-level players at key positions, by the way.
Northwestern also. Look at Northwestern. Northwestern won 1 game last year. Plus, they lost their head coach right before the fucking season started. And that man took a Northwestern fucking team to where we're talking about academic standards. They're basically an Ivy League team. And he's taking them to a bowl game with 6 wins this year. And those are coaches. Those are guys that are going to develop. I'm going to say this too, Nick. If you look at Coach Sanders, if you look at Deion has never been a producer of, hey, I'm gonna grow this talent. I'm gonna do a homegrown. Because if you look at high school, when he was in high school, all those kids flocked to him. You had the best talent in the DFW area that flocked to him. When he went to Jack State, he brought in, and I tell people, if you have a swag roster and you bring in 15 D1 from Bama, Georgia, Clemson, etc., your team is going to be better than every fucking body else in the SWAC. Just point blank period, because of the talent. You don't have to coach that shit. All you have to do is just sit back and do this. So now he's starting to coach, and you can see at the end of the fucking year, you can see that stare. He had it when you getting your ass whooped. All coaches have that fucking stare. I've had it. Damn Saturdays a day in my lifetime will get my ass whooped, and he don't do adjustments. It's a lot I can keep on going on. Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, SJ.
What was that first high school team that Coach Prime coached?
That was a team. Trinity. It was Trinity. No. The first ever team was Prime Prep.
Okay, I don't know.
Or something.
Okay, I don't know which one it was. Teams came to Phoenix City, down here my own town, and Central beat the dog out of Coach Prime in them that year.
Yes, they did. By the way, I kept up with that. Zip City boys gapped them up.
Yep, beat the dog shit out of them boys. Yes, Coach Prime was on the field giving all them boys Phoenix City prop. All my Phoenix, man, y'all some hell of a players. Yeah, we football down here for real.
Hey, don't say that too loud. Nick, don't say that too loud. The people from Texas going to hear you, and they think that their football is the best in the world. They think that the damn pros, the high school, and the college is just the best of ever. They don't feel like they can't lose to nobody. They're the best. Don't say that too loud now.
Hey, the state of Alabama gets looked over hardcore when it comes to high school football. The level of high school football, we may not have the money that the state of Texas does to pass around to build little mini college stadiums for the play in, but them boys get it out of the mud in Alabama. I'm gonna tell you right now that when I played when we had to go down south in the playoffs, we wouldn't get out of the playoffs. I knew this. And you don't want to ever have that competitive thinking where, oh, they're better than us. We knew, man. It's like when we got off the bus at Gaston City and they had Dre Kirkpatrick and all them boys. We knew. We wouldn't go.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. Man, my senior year in high school, man, I went to LaFleur. My school is basically a basketball program, but that year we made a miraculous run to the playoff. We made it to the semifinals. We played Daphne in the semifinals. It was us, Daphne, Hoover, and Prattville. That's when Hoover had first really started. I'm talking about because they had Chad Johnson on the team and all that shit. They had the kid that went to Bama. They had everybody. That's when they first started rolling off. Man, we was looking at that shit. We was like, man, we beat Daphne. We gotta play Hoover. And coach was telling, he was like, hey, well, we put up one of these sweatsuits and all this and all that. We started looking at coach like, hey, man, I'm not ordering no sweatsuit. I know we're not finna beat them people. Man, them people got 12 motherfuckers on their offense that's going to D1. We were looking at Chad like, this boy's going to Florida. This man is Julio Jones type shit. I mean, you see what I'm saying? So we were looking at that shit, and I tell people all the time, because, you know, like a lot of my subscribers come from the Texas area. And so, you know, I'm always just going back and forth with them. I have to tell them, y'all have like the DFW area. Y'all have 4 or 5 million people just in that area alone. That's more people than the state of fucking Alabama. So, of course, y'all supposed to look with the numbers wise, it's going to look that way. But if you look at per capita, Alabama and Louisiana are killing Texas and Florida and California when it comes to football homegrown, but they don't want to look at that because they're looking at the big numbers. I'm looking at per capita. And last thing, a couple years ago, the Mobile, Baldwin County, the 251 area, man, we had 23 players that was in the NFL on current rosters. And that was just from the 251 Mobile, Baldwin County area. That wasn't even the whole state of Alabama. And I'm like, man, if you got 23 players from a fucking region that has less than 400,000 people, that is amazing.
Hey, I had put it on a community post, and you said something about we do something down here in 251, and that's why my comment was, y'all been doing that. Like my comment back doing that down there. Y'all been doing that. But listen,
why you think Nick Saban? I'm sorry, but why you think Nick Saban always, if you look at Nick Saban's greatest team, you look at Nick Saban's Alabama team, you look at the LSU teams, Nick Saban always have at least 3-4 kids from the state of Alabama. And from down here on the Gulf Coast, he's going to always come and get at least 2-3 players from the Gulf Coast area, man. And it's just, he found a recruiting hotbed, a recruiting pipeline that the national media don't know nothing about.
Man. That Mobile is the unspoken quarterback cradle of the South, and nobody else talks about it. But I see it. I see it. People that know see it.
Right. We got the quarterback country. We got where you know where the guys train. We got QB country down here. Man, you got all the top-notch quarterbacks from high school, college, and the pros come down here and train. They go on O'Shell Road. They go from O'Shell Road, and he got one over there in he got a branch over there in the across the bay beach where they do the training on the beach and all that stuff. Man, when I say that the level of football for the state of Alabama, because you can go all the way to Fort Payne and you can go all the way to the west side of Alabama, to the north, down south, it doesn't matter. The level of football, man, is different because of the grind, because of the grit. Those big states like Texas, California, they have the monies to put behind the kids from a little age. Whereas in here in Mobile, man, if you look at the parks, you be like, God damn, how y'all playing out there on that mud bowl? How y'all playing out there in the dust bowl? Y'all ain't even got no grade. Y'all ain't got no equipment for real. But y'all putting out fucking talent. If you look at the state championship this year, hell, what? 3A, 4A, I know 3A, 5A. Came from down here. You know what I'm saying? We had three champions come from down this way to where, like I said, man, it's just the overall talent of the state. If you look at the great programs, look at why you think Dabo Swinney always came to Alabama to get him some good players. See what I'm saying? Because of that, but people don't see that, man.
Yeah, they said Dabo was on. He was down at the Super 7. They say he was down there looking around and stuff. Cause we had so many great athletes that so many Division I athletes, so many just great athletes that played in the state championship games, man. Listen, I speak on Central because this is my area. Listen, all the schools from 7th grade, from my son's 7th grade to the girl flag football team to the varsity, all these football teams have went undefeated this season. Every single last one of them. 7th grade, 9th grade, girl flag football, they won the state championship, and the varsity. All of them has went undefeated. I tell people we do this down here, bro. Football in Alabama is serious, bro. It is serious.
That's where I come from, Fort Payne, and Coach Dude's been to Fort Payne. Man, it's not a big town. It's barely a city. I mean, the population ain't huge. We're gonna be in the playoffs every year. We go into Huntsville and beat bigger schools every year. Like we big old mountain kids, man. We're just playing out in the sticks, just old school tough, just big old boys, corn-fed. The corn-fed kids, they big, they grown men before they mature to grown men. You know what I'm saying? And there's so much talent that gets looked over in this state.
Yep.
What'd you say?
You think about it like this, man. Y'all up there pushing, y'all up there blocking mountains. Y'all up there in the mountains, man. Y'all are pushing fucking big ass boulders up fucking hills and shit. See what I'm saying? Y'all, it ain't just no running up no hills. Y'all are pushing big ass fucking boulders and rocks up hills and shit. You know what I'm saying? These kids are fucking, that's why I said it's a different. If you look at California has the finesse. They don't start tackle football until what, 10, 11. So a lot of states don't start tackle football to the age of 12. See what I'm saying? 10, 11, 12. Whereas in the state of Alabama, I know for sure we start at 4 years old. Tackle football at 4 years old. Their helmet is big as shit. See what I'm saying? The shoulder pads are falling off their little ass. But
that ain't even counting, dude. When you're like 6 years old, you shading the gap against your uncle in the Thanksgiving Day bowl game outside in the yard, dude. And your uncle's gonna hit you like a Mack truck. He don't care how old you are. He's getting flashbacks to his glory days. Like they don't care, dude.
Especially after they had a few too, they still think they got it too, and they're taking the aggression out on the little 6-year-old.
Ain't nothing like getting your route jumped by a dude wearing a flannel shirt with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth and he's about half lit. Ain't nothing like it.
And high step into the end zone.
Stiff arming the kids. I'm talking about just real deal stiff arming to the ground. Like damn,
you know he's gonna take the next 3 series off. He's gonna be breathing hard until midnight that night. But he comes in and sees Old Glory when he comes back on that field, man. It's different, man. People in Alabama just want it more, man.
So we'll talk about Texas.
But you gotta look at it like this. We don't, because they always joke, well, y'all don't have no protein, y'all don't have this, and y'all don't have that. I said, why you think we so fucking hungry? We don't have none of that shit, so we trying to get all that shit. So we trying to
don't
make
have
it.
the population to sustain one. That's the only reason. Look how big Atlanta is, and the Falcons suck every year, man. Don't give me that shit. If we're gonna have an owner that has a pro team that ain't gonna care about the team winning, hell, I just soon not have one.
But see, I'm gonna tell you too, though, Van. You gotta look at it like this. Because I bring up this with the population overall being so poor for the state of Alabama, it's hard to bring in professional teams because you look at the minor league teams with baseball, basketball, and hell, the XFL and all that shit. We didn't support it like that because hell, we're as an overall. I know you have a lot of people that's financially successful and stuff like that, but overall, the state is hard to support it when you have so many unfortunate when it comes to the monies for their home. So it's hard to buy them damn tickets.
Dude. We live paycheck to paycheck up here where I'm at, man. And you work hard for that paycheck. I mean, hard for that paycheck. But you live paycheck to paycheck, and you ain't got $25 to go watch a semi-pro baseball team play, much less if the NFL team come to town. Yeah, I totally get it.
Shit. Hey, I tried to go to a damn Panda game. That shit was $75 type shit. So, the cheap tickets for a Saints game is $125 damn dollars.
With that shitty ass quarterback competition they got at the Saints, they would have paid you to go to the damn game. Come on.
If you just think about it, when you got yourself, your wife, or yourself, your kids, you know what I'm saying, or yourself and your buddies or something like that, and then you want to eat. So you're gonna buy a $12 hot dog, or I don't drink alcohol, but you're gonna buy a $5 Coke or a $12 damn Bud Light or some shit like that. Plus popcorn is $5. Hell, you're gonna spend $300 damn dollars just going to a fucking football game. So
that's why when I go to Alabama games, I got that little station down the block from them. The last time I went, and they sold draft beer by the jug, like $4 for a jug of draft beer. I bought 2 jugs and was chugging them with a plastic bag over before I got in the stadium. I was trying to get a little buzz going. But I was walking by cops, just looking at them side-eyed. I was like, man, shit, I ain't trying to go to jail down here in Tuscaloosa.
How y'all think I feel with 5 kids going to the Alabama A&M game, man? Look, you eat before you get there, but when you get there, when you get in the stadium, they automatically get hungry and thirsty.
Hey, my little boy just turned 5 yesterday. I got a 5-year-old boy and a 2-year-old girl. Ain't neither one of them been in an Alabama game yet because I got to drive nearly 2.5 hours, 3 hours to get to the game. So that's $100-something worth of gas probably, and then the tickets to get there, the food and everything else. Then you're gonna be driving home late that night. You gotta fight the traffic. I-65, you hit a bump wrong, you're gonna end up off the side of the road. So I mean, it's terrible, man.
Plus the kids in the background laughing and joking and crying and all that stuff like that. You gotta add that to it too. Now you gotta add that.
And look, Van. So I'm down here in Phoenix City, so that's like a 4-hour drive for us. So now we gotta get a hotel room. Now you gotta be locked up in a hotel with the motherfuckers all day.
Yep. Gotta drop an elbow on one of them every once in a while, just get them to shut up. And you love them to death, but at the same time, you hear all that y'all, and you've been sitting in traffic for 5 hours, and you ain't got time for it no more.
Melatonin, that's the favorite. But see, my children, they didn't adapted to the melatonin. Shit, they eat that shit like candy. They be like, Daddy, let me get some more. I don't this and this. I'm looking at their legs like, damn, we all go to sleep around it.
They got too much red 40 in it anymore, man. Everything got red 40 in it now, man. These kids are wired up, ready to go. They're like the neighborhood crackheads, dude. You can look out on the corner and see that one guy's been standing there for 2 days, or you can look up in the bedroom and see my kids still awake at 1 o'clock. They don't never want to go to sleep.
But let me say this. When it comes to high school football, I'm so glad that the ESPN does the high school challenges at the beginning of the season, you know, Alabama versus Florida, Georgia versus Florida, etc. We've had, I know the last 2 years, Saraland from down my way has been on ESPN playing against in Tennessee, Lipscomb or something like that. And they lost the first year and they won this year. Those, and then you always got Hoover, and now you got Thompson and stuff like that on TV. Those programs are actually helping to put the spotlight on our programs because see, you know, people think that when it comes to high school football, especially down south, Florida, Georgia, you know, Texas is just, that's them. They're a little different. They're over there. I don't really consider them our side of the South like that, you know. But and then they gonna say Louisiana. I hate how the public perception of Alabama football. I guess because of the state and how the world, the United States look at our state like that. But I just be like, y'all just sleeping on us. We were the first fucking state to have two-a-days on TV. Like, I guess you forget Hoover was started the damn reality TV shows when it comes to football. Like, all that shit started here. Alabama's the greatest damn college football program existing. I don't care what nobody damn say. Stats don't.
Like you that brought up JUCO players and all that stuff started out East Mississippi Community College. Everybody quits talking about that. They were the first one. They were on there for 3 or 4 seasons in a row, winning championships, man. And that's something I want to bring up. I drove through there going to the casino one time, and there ain't nothing there. And I'm like, how the hell are they getting kids here, man? I mean, like, I'm from a small town, and that town ain't got shit in it.
Man,
like on the way to Philadelphia to go to casino to lose some money because I ain't got no damn luck. You'll drive right through college.
Van, when I say the majority of the Mississippi JUCO schools are in the middle of fucking nowhere, like no, literally no fucking where. When I went to Gulf Coast, man, I got out of Biloxi, the Gulfport, Biloxi. I'm like, okay, this is still city. This is still city. I turned on 49 going up north, dang on to Mississippi. I'm looking at nothing but trees, nothing but trees, nothing but trees, nothing
Yep.
nowhere at all. I get off in Little Ferguson, Mississippi. Is one gas station. I pass by this little bit ass store, and then I hit the school. I'm like, hey. I don't know. I'm a city boy. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, from Mobile. I don't know nothing about the country life like that. So it was just mind blowing to me. And then when we went to like Copa Lincoln and a lot of those other schools like that, I'm like, man, what the fuck, man? We in the middle of fucking nowhere, man. I'm like, man, okay, hold on, coach. Where are we going? Do we have to go down that big ass damn dirt road like that with nothing but trees around? Like, come on, man. And so but it's still like even with Mississippi with JUCO football, a lot of people don't think of the Mississippi. They look at Kansas. They look at you know what I'm saying. Though they look out there, they don't look at the Mississippi. It's like Mississippi and Alabama,
Christian, Independence, Kansas, places like that. Yeah, but then you look at Mississippi, man. Their community colleges are in that playoff run or in that championship game every year.
Fucking year, right? If it wasn't, I know for a good little while, if it wasn't Northeast, it was Pert. It was Gulf Coast. You know what I'm saying? Gulf Coast was like that. We were. I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story. Then when I got to Gulf Coast, I'm thinking I'm gonna get on the field. I'm gonna play. Man, right before the season started, we had two guys from LSU, a guy from Louisiana Lafayette, a guy from Ole Miss, and one kid from Missouri. We all of us was playing cornerback. All of them motherfuckers was. I'm 5'9". I was 5'9", 190 damn pounds. All them fuckers was 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". Every last fucking one of them. Every last fucking one of them was coming there for a goddamn semester. So I'm looking at, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, okay, what about me? You know what I'm saying? Y'all wanted me to come here to play football and baseball. Well, those guys, and that's when I learned the politics. That's when I learned the gray shirt rule. I learned all that. I'm like, hey man, what the fuck? I've heard of a red shirt, but coach, you want me to gray shirt? Oh, whoa. I'm okay. But that's when, like I said, that's when I learned the politics. Then I learned that, hey, I was okay, but that guy from LSU, ooh, Jesus, and that boy from Louisiana Lafayette, I was like, oh yeah, I got some work to do. I got a lot of work to do around here. So
I just had something pop up in my mind. Something pop up in my mind. You know, we don't focus on JUCO players no more. Ever since transfer portal, you know, we don't focus on JUCO guys no more. Alabama used to get some killer JUCO guys, Mount Cody. I mean, the list is long that we built championship teams off of. Yeah, growing up, I remember hearing stories about like California schools that were JUCO schools. Steve Smith Jr., Chad Johnson, all these guys were coming through these JUCO levels before they got to Division I. You know, they were doing their 2 years at the JUCO level. Could a Coach Prime go out at the JUCO level? Could he put somebody on his staff that knows how to assimilate the kids into the program, kind of learn how to teach them something, kind of keep the trouble away, bring these guys in and build a program that way? Or do you think?
Know what, though?
Coach Sanders?
But I'm going to say this on this. They can do it at the high school level. Damn, so I got time for it on the college level. And that's what fair. Programs are messing up, because I was having a conversation just the other day with my dad. I said, man, if I'm a top-notch high school program, I'm hiring people like, you know, we go out and get these trainers for our kids. I'm actually hiring these type of players, type of coaches that come in for my own players to be like, listen, I'm hiring you. I need you to train these guys. I need you to develop these guys. This dude in the 8th grade right now, he is 6'3", and he's going to be hell, but he needs to be trained. And I don't want him to have to transfer somewhere else or goddamn go out for training. We're going to train in-house where we ain't got to spend them extra monies. We'll spend the monies through the school. We'll spend the extra monies for the training through the school. But I'm developing in-house. These coaches now, they want to do more coaching with less coaching. Everybody want to be a coach, but they don't want to coach anymore. Everybody like a Little Caesar pizza right now. They want the hot and ready. They want the hot and ready. No.
Hey, but you gotta look at it too, Nick Jr. You gotta look at it like this: with how you gotta win now, that attitude, and with the monies, including look, just think about our state. You got high school coaches that's making $200,000 a year now. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with the monies that's involved with coaching now, everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win. And if you're not winning 1 or 2 years, no one is patient anymore. All the way from like I said, from every level of fucking football, you can go from the parks all the way up to the pros. Mm-hmm. No one is patient to where, okay, we got a new coach. Let's give him the time to build this program. Let's get him this time to establish his culture, etc. We don't do that anymore. Just think of it like this: if for the next, because I know we were talking about it last night with Icebox and AT, the next Alabama coach that comes in after Coach Saban, we've been used to winning 10 games per year, like 10 games. We wake up to winning that. If we don't win fucking 10 games that first year with whoever come after Nick Saban, his head is on the block. See what I'm saying? It's just automatic. You're gone. You got it. And it's the instant, like you said, the instant instead of the building. No one wants to build because of the monies, man.
Hey, but y'all, I'm gonna tell you who fault this is. Why college football and all this football like this now? Coach Saban. It's his fault.
Yeah, you're right.
He came to Alabama. He came to Alabama 2007, 2008. We compete. We playing Florida in the SEC championship. We went undefeated that year, but we lost to Tim Tebow. Next year, we won the national championship. Coach Saban did it. He messed it up. He did it.
And then, he tell me, like, when they bring out new rules, when they bring out the clock rules, when they bring out the NIL, the transfer, Coach Saban tells y'all beforehand, hey, do y'all really want to do this? This is on y'all. Because if y'all want to do this, I'm going to take advantage of it, and I'm going to continue to win. Now, he tried to tell y'all, keep it at an even playing field. Y'all don't want to do this, and look what's happening.
But they say Coach Saban just crying. Now, he don't want that laughing at y'all because y'all the one that crying. He laughing. He like, I'm succeeding. Y'all right.
He tried to warn everybody, man. You're exactly right. He tried to tell everybody what's going to happen. The big programs would thrive and survive. These little programs going to get left behind, and now look at it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine you being your son or yourself being a recruit right now, a 2-3 star? It's the Power Fives are not going to look at you because of the transfer portal. See what I'm saying? So those opportunities that a lot of kids had, like the Josh Jacobs of the world. Do y'all really think that Josh Jacobs with how the transfer portal and how NIL deals, do y'all think that Josh Jacobs would have, as a 3-star nowadays, would have, got recruited like that because of with the transfer portal and the NIL deals and things like that? You're going to have a lot of those guys that are not going to get those opportunities at the Alabamas, the Michigans, the Ohio States of the world, the Georgias of the world because of the NIL deals. Just think about it like that.
Yep.
Why go get a kid? Because let's just think it. Why go get a kid from a 3-star, 2-star out of high school when I can go to Tuscan University and go get a 2,000-yard back? See what I'm saying? I can go to Little House of the Poor University and go get a 5,000-yard career receiver or something like that instead of going to get a 2-star, 3-star. So
not even Little House University. Dang on, I'm just saying a Georgia University and take their number 2 running back because he ain't happy. Go to another top program to get another top program to get one of their best recruited running backs. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You got people, you got teams, best players leaving their program to go to another program, bro. Like it's crazy.
And it's not going to hurt an Alabama. It's not going to hurt a Georgia because they'll go out and get somebody else. But these other schools can't build a winning program. These coaches are getting lost in transition. Good coaches because they're having guys that they used to would have kept 3 or 4 years and developed into had a good season. They're losing these guys so fast now. And if they don't step in right now and do something with the transfer portal and the NIL, it's just going to be complete free agency in college football if it's not already. And it's going to completely leave 100 and something schools behind. And you're just going to have like 10 good ones and everybody else. And that's sad, man.
Let me give you the flip side of that, though. Let me give you the flip side. I'm gonna use South Alabama here in Mobile. That guy, he's heavy into the transfer portal, but he's heavy into it with the JUCO guys, and he'll pick up kids from here and there, and it turned his program around. Some of those small schools, they utilize the transfer portal in the right way. You know, like I said with South Alabama, because with how they're recruiting, you know, with the Sun Belt and that let's just use the Sun Belt for example. All those schools, Jacksonville State, Troy, and South, those three schools, for example. Well, I know Jacksonville State not in the Sun Belt, but those schools they have to get a couple of transfer kids down so they can stay, you know, compete at a high level like that. Because, you know, I mean, just think about it. If you got a kid that's a 4-star, he's not gonna look at South Alabama, Troy at all. Yeah, that's just like, huh? You what? That's you know what I'm saying? But when they transfer those kids that's from Mobile or from Troy, that area, Montgomery area, stuff like that, they're gonna think about, okay, where I transferred from Auburn, I transferred from Bama, I can go to South, I can go to Troy, I can go to Jacksonville and put tape out and get good playing time. See what I'm saying? So I just think that for me, I would regulate it to where if you're transferring from a Power 5 to a Group of 5, no problem, nothing at all, nothing wrong with you. But if you're transferring from a Power 5, i.e. Georgia, that linebacker that's transferring for whatever, I don't have no reason why he's transferring other than monies. If you're going to transfer like that, you need to they need to have a salary cap or something. Mm-hmm. They need to put it to where it should be your NIL deal shouldn't be no more than worth $50,000. That way, a lot of these kids, right? Then that way you will regulate some of this transfer portal madness. Because, like I said, you got Dylan Gabriel, will be a fucking 6-year senior next year. This kid is leaving Oklahoma, where you're doing great at Oklahoma, to go to Oregon. To go to Oregon because they're paying you more money. Look at the kid from Mississippi State. You leave in Mississippi State where you're basically the all-time passing leader in every fucking statistically category. You're gonna leave there because you feel like their offense is not catered to you, even though hell, your ass was just injury prone this year to go to Washington. That might not be the same dang on thing that the same outcome is gonna be for you. Why you can't just stay at your program and do because you're playing in the SEC. And if you can pass for 250 yards in the SEC per game, your ass going to the NFL. I don't give a shit who you are.
Because he acts like just because Washington's had really good success this year, they're going to a different conference next year. And they're combining
with the receivers gone. Man, the receivers are gone. All 4 of those receivers were seniors. They're gone. He don't have that. That clip is bare.
Hey, look at Malik Murphy. Look at Malik Murphy leaving Texas.
Told y'all he was gonna leave. Did I tell y'all he was gonna leave? I told y'all he was leaving.
You called it. But let's be honest. Leaving a team that's in the hunt for a title and their quarterback is Glass Joe. I ain't talking shit about Ewers. He beat us this year. He is injury prone. Yeah. You got a real chance. And we've already seen him do it this year. Come in and play when Ewers was banged up and play at a high level and do good. You got a chance to possibly play in a college football championship and possibly lead a team to a championship as a backup because he's going to be playing good defenses throughout the playoffs and get banged up. And you're going to leave that opportunity beforehand? They said he's leaving now. He's not even going to the ball game.
So go back to what we were saying earlier. Go back to what we were saying earlier. This is why I think the transfer portal needs to be pushed back, like you were just saying, Coach Dude. Because this is what I want to speak on earlier when we was talking about this. With Malik Murphy, he is in the situation that's like, man, I need to hop in here now because all the good shit gonna be gone if I hop in here later. You know what I'm saying? But do to all this transfer portal madness. Now you got kids that decision like this, like, God dang, I'm on the freaking possibly national championship winning team, probably dang, but I got to freaking leave because I need to hit this portal and get a possible good team because of this crap. So this is why I agree. The portal needs to be pushed back. Man. Like we gotta stop all this right portal.
I want to jump
What's
on.
up?
I want to jump on some topics real quick because I know our spots can't stay on forever, and y'all probably can't either. But I want, while y'all are still here, I got some things I just want to hit real quick if y'all are okay with it. Just a couple of topics.
Let me say one thing.
Yes.
Let me say one thing. Transfer portal, you better get a hold of it now. Gone are the days where you had amateur playing for college football teams that didn't make money. You know how it goes. That's why it's always a problem because somebody cheating. If you don't get a hold of the problem now, it'll never go back. Keep that in mind.
It'll get worse.
It'll get worse. And you're doing things now that used to be illegal and will get your school pretty much shut down. Take like SMU. That's what you're now doing. You better get a hold of it now before it ever changes.
Stephen Hicks said transfer portals are for quitters. I disagree. But does quitters hit the transfer portal? Yes.
Yep.
Do a lot of quitters hit the transfer portal? Yes, but I disagree with the quitter transfer portals. But a lot of quitters does transfer portal.
Yeah, sure. There's definitely guys that are great quarterbacks, but maybe they got greatness in front of them for another year or two, and then they get a high-level recruit coming in, and they're good enough to play good college football for another team, and I understand those guys going somewhere else. I do. I get that. But at least stay at a school long enough to build a foundation, like build something, learn some coaching under your belt before you leave. Don't leave as a freshman. That's crazy, man.
And see, that's the part of I don't get. Like, come on, bro, you a true freshman and you already in the transfer portal. Like, bro, you don't know what next season would have brought for you. The person that possibly could have been starter, he probably could have got hurt, and you probably be doing. You probably took over the driver's seat, and you've been a driver from then on out. Come on, look at the Dumas guy. That listen, he would have started the whole year, but he could. And now he looking at freshmen probably finna come in and take over the spot since they got the driver's seat now. And he transferring it, and he quality quarterback for Georgia. I mean linebacker for Georgia.
I don't get it. All right, so here's one of the topics I wanted to brush on. Number one, Florida Senator Rick Scott left furious as college football committee responds to complaint. So he gives a formal complaint, wants to do a whole investigation on the fact that Florida State didn't get to the playoffs. And yes, Coach Dude, that sigh is the same thing I had when I read it because it's exhausting. I never wanted to hate Florida State, but it's getting there because I ain't never seen a group of grown people cry like this. Ain't never seen it.
They got songs. They got a rap song out. They got a rap song. I saw it yesterday. I put it on my community wall. You got to at least please go to my community wall, man. And just, the song is funny as shit. It's funny as fuck, man.
I'll be there.
Hey, please just go watch that video. It's a rap video, man. And he's going off on Alabama. He's going off on Michigan. He's going off on everybody. But the thing is, you're gonna have somebody crying regardless. If they would have kept it when it was 2 teams, you had people crying. When it's 4 teams now, you got people crying. When it go to 12 teams, you're gonna have the 13th and the 14th team crying. You're gonna have fucking somebody fan base to cry regardless. If you look at the criteria, a lot of people ain't really paid attention to the real criteria. One of the criteria was the availability of the coach and the players. Yeah. Now, if your star player who we've known that, hey, yeah, if he was there, he'd be great. But your backups didn't do nothing. Everybody's bringing up the Ohio State run. Cardale Jones was killing it out there. Yeah. They showed their backup quarterback against Florida. What did he do? Nothing. Then the backup to backup was against Louisville, and that was fucking shit. And then at the same time, when they want to bring up that, Kentucky just turned around on rivalry weekend, beat the brakes off of fucking Louisville. I'm talking about beat the brakes. And we turned around and beat the brakes off of fucking Kentucky. So it's like, okay, if Kentucky beats the brakes off the champion, a team that's playing in the conference championship, and y'all barely beat that team, how in the hell is y'all going to stand up against those other teams? It is not going to work. And so they gotta just stop crying, man. It is what the fuck it is. Then last thing though, I'm more pissed off because those senators and those congressmen in Florida, I'm not from the state of Florida, so I really don't care. But I'm just saying I'm pissed off about it because they're using taxpayers' money.
Bingo.
Like, what the fuck? You're using taxpayers' money to bullshit. Everybody in fucking Florida is not a Florida State fan. Let's be clear. Everybody in fucking Florida is not a fan of Florida, see what I'm saying, or Florida State or fucking Miami. So you're wasting these people money for what? It is fucking irrelevant. It is what it is. You should have beat the shit out of fucking Louisville with your backup to the backup, and you would have been playing right now. But you didn't do it. So just sit down and watch like everybody else. Beat Georgia. That's what you're supposed to do.
I got such a damn problem with it, and I'm not going to get into politics because I don't want to piss everybody off because my viewpoint is probably different than everybody else's here. I ain't never met a politician I liked. Ain't never seen a politician I like. Don't trust them. Don't like none of them. You can't pull me into this DNR conversation, Democrats, Republicans, because I don't like any of them. Because as long as we got homeless people on the streets and kids waking up hungry, I don't give a damn about these politicians because the money we should have spent in other places should have went that way. And that's all I'm going to speak on that. But to waste taxpayers' money, like you said, on some bullshit, when you know you beat a mid Louisville team, your combined win-loss record of your schedule was barely above 500. Stop it. Shit or get off the pot, Florida State. Go get in a better conference.
Maybe they should have beat Boston College by more than 3 points earlier this year. Maybe they should have beat a fucking 6-16 by 20 points like you was supposed to. Then you wouldn't have had these conversations. Oh man, the fuck out of here.
I'm gonna say this: politics has no business being in college football.
No, it's an escape.
Yeah, they asked for $1 million to try to pursue a lawsuit against the college football committee. That's where all this money is coming from. You know, you're trying to build a name. It's got no. They agreed to how things was done when they was in the college football. That's the way it is. Don't come in here messing it up. I don't like Florida. They always want to change the rules. You know what I'm saying? From what I was reading a while ago, and Junior probably knows what I'm talking about. They're wanting to play the Georgia and Florida State game as a meeting for the college football playoff this year.
Yep.
Ain't happening. That's not you can't change the rules playing a game. I don't care what you're doing, not mid-season. You can't do that.
Did we cry last year? Did Governor Ivey goddamn put up a petition to where Alabama, because we were playing great ball at the end of the year, and so I'm saying we didn't put up a petition that hey we should be this and we should be that. We all said hey we lost it on the fucking field. We didn't do what we were supposed to do. We're gonna get y'all ass next year, and that's what you're supposed to fucking be. And my thing is you don't have liberty. Well, okay, if that's the question, why Liberty is not goddamn on putting a lawsuit? Why? Well, it was another team that went undefeated this year. I know Liberty. But I just use Liberty. Why Liberty is not saying, hey, that year Central Florida. Central Florida trolled. They made their own banners, got their own rings, did their own little thing. See what I'm saying? Auburn that year, Auburn was robbed out of the fucking national championship game. The fucking whoever was the governor of Alabama that year, we didn't get our taxpayers' monies to sue the NCAA. Man, they can miss me with that shit, man.
Well, even Florida State was put in. Florida State was put in one time over West Virginia.
Florida State was put in twice over teams. 1993 over West Virginia.
Now they want to cry.
Who was undefeated. Year 2000 got put in over Miami, who beat them the week before, by the way, to play Oklahoma in the national championship. But they don't want to remember all that, you know. They just fair weather fans. They just current. They don't know the history of football.
They see a political opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And Tulane went undefeated one year. Sean King, he played quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For the people that might not remember that guy, Sean King and Tulane went undefeated one year, and they didn't even play in the BCS bowl game. They went undefeated, and the state of Louisiana, the city of New Orleans, ain't nobody fucking cry. They patted them kids on the back and say, "Great fucking job going undefeated. Win your bowl game, and you win at the top. You know, you top 25. It is what it is." Now, if Georgia, if Florida State got a real cry, go out and beat the fuck out of Georgia. and just tell everybody, hey, we should have did it. But because they know, hey man, we missed the playoffs and we got to fucking play against a pissed off ass Georgia team, and we finna get the brakes beat off our ass.
Wait a minute. Now, Junior can back me up on this. But there's a lot of people in the transfer portal from Georgia, which means we'll have a better chance.
I'm gonna tell you this: a lot of those players are not difference makers for Georgia. A lot of them are not people that played anyway. Now one of them was a starting linebacker. Okay, and the story guy, he got some snaps in, but if Georgia come in there with the mindset they've been coming in with anyway, they ain't got nothing to worry about against Florida State without a quarterback.
Good to hear.
But
they must have paid Carson Breck $4 million.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because if you want to talk about Carson Beck and $4 million, now if you want $4 million, now you can start talking about, shoot, if I want $4 million, hell, well, I'm gonna get drafted at, I can go get that in the NFL. So now that's the thing they're facing with now. Like, well, if I want $4 million, I'll go to the NFL for $4 million, because I'm not gonna be a first round top. Well, I don't know where he's gonna be in, but he can get $4 million out of the draft right now if he go right now. He's not a top notch quarterback coming in, but if he get drafted, he can get $4 million. You know, so that's another thing they got to look at.
Nick, you got to look at it like this, like with Dylan. Look at the Dylan Gabriel situation. He knew he wasn't a day 1 or day 2 pick, so why not go back, go and put my services to the highest bidder? See what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's he would get more monies from Oregon next year than he would get from his NFL contract. So I know a lot of those kids are looking at it like that. I just look at Bryce Young, the year that the NIL was first kind of let everybody let the kids get paid or whatever. Bryce Young was the first $1 million quarterback in college. See what I'm saying? And he set the standard for college paid quarterbacks, like it or not. But he did that. So where you like, hey man, if you want a real top notch quarterback, you got to pay up. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same way in the NFL. I don't agree with it because it takes the amateurism out of it. We're putting too much into putting free agency into something that should not be right now.
By the way,
I agree.
Shout out to one of our own, Jalen Milroe, graduated. Congratulations, young man. And announced he was coming back for next year. So congratulations, young man. We're proud of you.
Yep.
Why people thought he was
leaving? Go ahead,
leaving?
I'll be back.
Why people thought that kid was really leaving, man? I don't understand that, man.
I think after the Anthony Richardson draft last year and the way he did, I think that opened a lot of people's eyes to a guy like Milroe, who's an incredible athlete, but it could have probably killed the combine numbers this year. Let's just be honest. His speed, his strength, his athleticism, Milroe would have killed it. And they love him a combine kid, man. So, I mean, there's a very high possibility that he could have went out, and the team took a chance on him way too early, because to me, Milroe still got some places to get polished at. And I'm glad he's coming back, because I want him to be well-rounded when he goes pro, because I love that kid, man. I love his mentality. I love the way he stayed and fought for his position. That's old school. He did it old school. He did it, and that's why I had to back him all year, because, I seen that shine in him last year against Texas A&M and against Arkansas. He showed the ability to be a leader, and he showed that he stuck with Alabama when he could have went somewhere else and probably made some NIL money and probably would have started and probably would have had a lot less backlash from a bunch of dumbasses in the fan base that didn't want to see him shine. But he stuck it out, cut through the bullshit, and look at him now.
Now, let me say this about the Anthony Richardson thing. Anthony Richardson came into the season with the expectations on, hey, he's going pro and all this. He was kind of slotted into, before the season even started, he was slotted into it. One of the reasons why I was like, hey, I don't think from the get-go, even if Jalen had a good year, I didn't think that he was going to go pro because of the slots. When we coming into the season, we already knew a couple quarterbacks was going to go in the first round. We already knew this. See what I'm saying? We already knew the number 1 pick was going to be a kid from USC. We already knew Drake May. See what I'm saying? So those were 2 slots. And then it was kind of like what Quinn Ewers was going to do. If Quinn Ewers was going to have a good year, he was going to be gone. So there was another slot. The slots where I was looking at, like, hey, if he have a great year this year, come back next year, he will be one of the top 3 quarterbacks to be taken in the draft. But if he leave this year, he'd be a late first rounder to second, third round. See what I'm saying? So I was
not a bad thing because let's be honest.
Not to look at Jalen Hurts. Right.
You're not going to get the upfront as much money as a rookie, but you're going to a more talented, more developed roster. And then if you play well with them, that second contract's on fire. Yeah. So Jalen went in a good spot. I mean, obviously he played in the Super Bowl last year and they're really competitive this year. They've kind of fell off the last few weeks. I don't really know what's going on there, but regardless, I mean, let's just transition right now since we already speaking on some NFL stuff. Y'all heard the rumors about Bill Belichick is gone after the year, right?
Yeah,
I've been hearing it. Anybody else, he'd be fired. If he was anybody else, he'd been fired last year, man. Let's be for real. If it was not Bill Belichick, he'd been fired.
That's a hot take, bro. I want to hear y'all's opinions. That's wild. I want to hear that.
But I've been saying for years, though, even with Tom Brady, I said, I don't think Bill Belichick could be all that without this magical quarterback. He wouldn't, man. I've been saying that for years. I said, he all right. Okay, I said, go back to one of my topics that I want to do. Go back to one of my topics of what I want to do. Good coach versus flashy hire. He's just a flashy name because of the players that he has had, because of Tom Brady.
I can go back further than that with it. You know, when he was a defensive coordinator for the Giants under back in the 80s, what may have been the greatest defensive player of all time, Lawrence Taylor. He had Pepper Johnson. I mean, he had some dogs on that defense. All right.
What did he do? What did he do in Cleveland, man? What did he do in Cleveland?
I mean, he did get y'all to the playoff. He did get y'all to the playoff, and then y'all started tearing the bleachers out, throwing them on the field and shit.
The only thing I was grateful for was he gave Nick Saban. Nick Saban was on his staff. He was the defensive coordinator. That's the one thing I do. I'm grateful for that. You know what I'm saying? We had Nick Saban as a Browns was with the Browns, but other than that, that man ain't do shit in fucking Cleveland, man. That man. By the way,
I seen a video the other day when they were at the Browns before they moved to the Ravens. And when Nick Saban was defensive coordinator on the sideline, he had that Ric Flair drip, dude. You watched him man, he was pimping in Cleveland, dude.
Hey, he looked like he was a part of the mob back then.
I thought he was one of the 4 horsemen, dude. I was like, what's
But see, that's my thing too, though, man. With a lot of these coaches, man, a lot of coaches, if you look at from man, I'm gonna keep saying it, from park ball to the damn pros, they're not fucking coaching. Get some good ass talent, and the talent make them look fucking good. But when they leave that fucking team, or the talent leaves them, then you see that motherfucker is a sorry ass coach. He doesn't. It was just the talent, him or him to the level that they at. Now, I mean, you can't win. No, you can't win without the talent because you got to coach them up. It's been plenty of programs right now, and I just look at the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans in the NFL. The Houston Texans are playing great motherfucking ball with that exact same team last year. It's just they brought in a different coach, and he brought in different energy to the team. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the Patriots, man, you can't say that they don't have the talent because they got the talent. It's the NFL. Every team in the NFL has fucking talent. It's just the coaches. Look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Coach Tomlin has never had a losing record. Never in the NFL. And that man had shitty ass quarterback play for the last couple of years, and he's still winning fucking football games. See what I'm saying?
The last 5 years of Ben Roethlisberger's career was shitty.
Fucking shitty,
he can get it done a while, dude, with some bad quarterback play. I agree with you. 100%. And did you see the Chargers fired their coach after they got gapped by the Raiders?
Fuck that.
He been fired his first year that they didn't do anything, because you can't have Justin Herbert, who I don't think's the greatest quarterback in the NFL by a long shot, but he's serviceable, big arm, but they got talent all around that freaking team, dude. How are you not winning?
But see, he's overrated too.
That conference is wide open. How are you not winning right now?
Herbert is overrated too, though, and the reason why I'm gonna say
big time overrated. No, you won't get no argument from me there.
Okay, and I'm gonna say this because if you look at statistics, I know that the last week when he was playing right before he got hurt, he had 3 batted down passes, and they brought up the stat. They was like, man, this man is 6'6" with a rocket damn arm, but he's leading the fucking league in batted passes at the damn line of scrimmage.
Let me go further. Every opportunity he gets in the full quarter to bring his team back by making a key throw, he can't make it. That's why I judge a good quarterback. I don't judge it on the stats because stats are skewed. A lot of it's the type of offense you run and, you know, the situation with your defense. If you get in a shootout, you know, stats are going to look bigger than they should, things like that. But in key situations, Hubert has never got the job done.
Hey, let me ask you this. You know,
they were Allen at Buffalo.
Oh yeah. They had some controversy about what Cam Newton had came out the other day, and he was like Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott and Tua, I can't never say his name, Tua, down in Miami. He called them serviceable. He said they're game managers.
Mm-hmm.
And the media attacked that dude like they real deal attacked him, man. And I'm looking at, and when he said it, because I follow Cam on YouTube and stuff, and I watch all his shows. And when he said it, he broke it down to where you like, yeah, it is true. They don't give Tua don't make no mistakes. He's not finna throw the ball in no tight ass fucking window. Even at Bama, he did not do that.
He's a timing based route guy. He's on timing. He's not the guy who's going to stand back there and create something in the pocket and wait for a guy to get open and throw the back shoulder fade in a tight window 40 yards down the field. That's not who Tua is.
Right. If you look at Brock Purdy from college up to the pros, he don't turn the ball over. He's a serviceable, good ass quarterback. I'm not taking it away from him, but he don't take no chances either. Also, see what I'm saying? Brock Purdy
is Mac Jones in a better situation.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And people were out there talking about MVP when he's getting most of his yards behind the line of scrimmage on screen plays and little 5-yard outs because he ain't making that crazy NFL big arm throw that we grew up watching, and we talk about it every week. So Cam's just saying what we've all been saying on this show every Sunday. The NFL quarterback has dropped off. Guys that we call elite would not have been elite 30 years ago.
Man, we got Jake Browning in the fucking man. Jake Browning is looking like a fucking all-star. To where they like, oh, his contract next year is going to be somebody's going to be looking for him, and then go ahead and pay that motherfucker, and you're going to be mad as hell.
Some dumbass GM's going to throw the bag at him and regret the hell out of it, and realize it was a system and not the quarterback.
Exactly.
Right? Look at this. He has stepped in and played like Joe Burrow's not even missing. And you gonna tell me the NFL ain't dropped off? You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the Raiders with what, a second or third string backup putting up like 60 on the Chargers last week. That should not be happening in the NFL, man. There's no way. Joe Flacco been out mowing the yard all year, man.
And it's showing now. It's showing right fucking now. We out here losing to the fucking Chicago Bears 17-7. This motherfucker just put a damn interception right on the fucking goal line. I'm just oh my God. But then that's the thing I don't understand. When you got all this training that these kids are getting from a young age, from 5-6 years old, they're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on quarterback play. Then they get to the NFL, you like, what the fuck? I guess that's why I love college more, because college, it's the different styles of football. You know, you might have an option team versus a spread team. You might have you know what I'm saying? See, that's one reason. You know, I love it. But with the pros, man, even the backups. Okay, if you're a backup in the NFL quarterback, you should be good, because that's the highest fucking level of football, man. Like there's some of this shit is like, oh my God, please stop. When you got, I'm sorry, but I got to give what you got. Baker Mayfield that's out here still looking like, you know what I'm saying? But you look at that like Baker Mayfield is he's suspect. He's a backup for real. See what I'm saying? You have a lot of backups that are starting now. You like, all right, but then,
let's be honest, if Baker Mayfield didn't have the story he had in college of being a walk-on and going to Oklahoma and playing maybe 2 tough teams a year and making it to the playoff and getting beat out, nobody would have been talking about Baker Mayfield like that.
Yeah, I know we've had 5 starting quarterbacks in Cleveland this year. Well, 5. We had Deshaun, we've had PJ Walker, we've had Joe Flacco, we've had 4, and we've had the kid from UCLA. Man,
What
we've
happened
had
to PJ Walker? Did he get hurt?
no, he's just on the team. They'd rather go with Flacco than go with PJ Walker. I don't understand why. At least PJ can run and beat out the damn pocket. This shit that we see in the day, this is some bullshit. I don't.
Joe Flacco's as athletic as I am, dude. He don't need. I'm a Ravens guy. I've seen firsthand what Joe Flacco's capable of. Okay, and I understand we won a Super Bowl with him. He made the miracle throw against Denver, but we rode Ray Lewis's inspirational last season in the NFL and his leadership, and we still had Ed Reed, one of the greatest safeties of all time. We rode that defense to a Super Bowl. And Joe Flacco was the product of the team. He was not that dude. We give him a fat contract the next year, and we didn't sniff at a Super Bowl again.
I don't even think none of your receivers had 700 yards receiving that year.
We had Anquan Bolden, and we didn't have a receiver with 1,000 yards. And Anquan Bolden was
you had a couple tight ends. You had a great defense, and he turned around. And handed the ball off to Jamal Lewis. That's what he did, and he got him $100 million.
That makes me wonder something. If you had to put together the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, your top 5, you have to think hard about it, and not because there's that many good ones, right? That's a tough conversation.
Shit, can't you even put 5 of them motherfuckers together?
I don't think I can. Like, people going crazy over this Italian kid for the Giants, and it's a great story. It's fun.
Man, listen,
man, we know
it's
Lynn Sanity. Yes, and you knew that when you watched the Knicks that year when Lynn Sanity broke out. You knew next year ain't nobody gonna be talking about this kid no more. You knew.
And that's what happened too. After them 20 games, that shit was done for. It went. But see, this is the thing too, though. If let's just say if with Cincinnati, if Joe Burrow would have got hurt week 2, week 3, Jake Browning wouldn't be successful as he is now. And the reason why I say that, because everybody would have got game film on him. They really would have broke down how he likes to pass the ball, how he likes to does this, does that. You know what I'm saying? And they really would have been on that shit. A lot of these guys
that's what nobody talks about is once the NFL gets 12 weeks of film on you,
you're done.
You're done.
Jalen
Hurts, now that everybody's got film on Jalen. I love Jalen Hurts, but let's be honest, people know how to attack him now.
Yeah, you starting to see all the hype go down a little bit now.
See now, Kansas City, you take away their main weapon, you take away Tyreek Hill off that team, and what do you have now? And they blaming all the referees, they blame the referees, they blame everything in the willpower, but what the real damn issue is, they don't want to put it on Patrick Mahomes. They don't want to say nothing bad about Patty Mahomes. They don't want to say
Patty Mahomes was going to be the greatest quarterback in NFL history. We heard it. And they win in Super Bowls, but they forget they got one of the smartest head coaches in the history of the NFL running the show. And he's putting them in a position to win. And I'm not doubting Patrick Mahomes' arm because he's got a strong arm. And he's got the ability to draw it up in the dirt sometimes and make things happen, but you can't have continued success like that. That's run out for them. Everybody knows how to play them now. You take away that what's his name? Travis Swift or whatever his name is, the tight end. You take him away.
He's at Travis Swift.
You take him out of the game and you can beat the Chiefs. Straight up.
Yeah, you take Swift. You take Travis Swift out the game. Yeah, you're right. They don't have no running game. And they don't have no running game.
Even with Travis Kelce, you start to see him being exposed because he's always had somebody on the outside to do it. So Travis Kelce never gets to a spot, but now he's having a problem because he's having stuff. Now you're starting to see a drop off in his play a little bit now.
And he's a little out of shape.
Out of shape?
He's a little out of shape.
I don't know about little motherfuckers. I'm not out of shape. He's doing too much swifting. He's doing too much swifting this year. And not enough football.
Yeah, he's going to too many Met Galas and all this other bullshit, and he ain't playing football no more, and it shows, man.
And you want me to tell you something strange to me? He wasn't on no commercials up until this year when he got with Taylor Swift. Soon as soon as the relationship was put out in public, that's when he wants to pop up with commercials here and commercials there and commercials here. And I have a thing with commercials. I'm sorry. The more commercials you fucking make, the less you goddamn gonna do good. That's why I'll be like with Coach Saban. Coach Saban, if you don't get your ass off that goddamn Affleck commercial, stop showing that motherfucker when it's football season doing playoffs. I don't want to see fucking the Affleck commercial. I don't want to hear Affleck. No. Wait till after, because I'm just saying. Just think about it. When you with the EA Sports and with if you get on the cover of Madden or something like that, your season go to fucking being trash, the team and the player, and then the more commercials these kids, the athletes make, you know what I'm saying, especially in football, the product on the field don't be the same, and it's just facts. It's real facts.
Let me tell you a rumor I heard, by the way, and I can't verify it, but I've seen it around several articled sites. And they're saying that Minnesota has one scholarship quarterback right now. You know, everybody's hitting the portal, right? And they're going to play in the Quick Lane Bowl. And they said that basically they're going to have to pay that quarterback $30,000
to play in one game.
That's what I'm hearing.
And he the backup to the backup. Mm-hmm. Got it. Hey, but bless that kid though. Hey, they think that's
the rumor is he didn't want to stick around either. So they threw the bag at him.
Hey,
one game, basically. Listen, and I said, the hell with it. I would come out and run the goddamn Wildcat before I pulled some bullshit like that.
I have so much eligibility left in college that I will go be the freaking quarterback right now. I don't know how good I am. Probably not good at all. But if they paying $30,000, give me $20. And got that some good insurance, and just give me a degree, and I'll be good.
I've got all my eligibility. My ass never went to college, and you'll know that if you listen to me talk long enough. But I'm telling you right now, dude, it wouldn't take nothing. Get me come up here. I can throw the shit out of a football now. I ain't real accurate, but I got a strong ass arm.
I think last night, Icebox was saying about Western Kentucky. They have some kids that's in the transfer portal, but their coach is going to let them play anyway, if I'm not mistaken. I know Icebox can, when he come back on, he can. I know he knew the team, and he was saying it last night. Sometimes you got to look at it like as a coach. If I got my whole position group gone in the damn transfer portal, you got to start recruit. That's one thing you got to recruit. It's sad because you got to recruit kids that's coming into your program. And now you got to recruit the kids that's in your program to stay in your program. Man, that's fucking God.
We wonder why the NFL's falling off, because they've got less time to coach them the way they need to be coached. And these kids are bouncing around to 4 and 5 programs, and they're never getting coached by one good coach fundamentally. And then when they go pro, they throw the bag at them, so they're going to play them. Because if you've invested $150 million in a guy, he's going to play.
Yeah,
right. I mean, look at Deshaun Watson, and I ain't just shitting on the Browns, but he ain't played well. But y'all threw so much money at him, y'all didn't have a chance not to start him until he got hurt.
Right, you're right. We had to play him, no matter what. We had to play him. Last year, that destroyed our team. Last year, if we would have just went on with Jacoby Brissett and let Deshaun Watson sit down for the rest of the year, just don't even worry about him last year, we would have made the playoffs last year. I'm not saying we won no Super Bowl, no shit like that. No. We the Browns. We're not going to win no Super Bowl. But we'd have made it to the playoffs. This year's the same fucking thing. We put all, because when you put all your eggs in one bag and then they don't hatch, you kind of be fucked up. You're looking at kind of crazy now. We had Jacoby Brissett instead of re-signing the man. You see what I'm saying? Let him be the backup. Now look at what we went through 5 fucking quarterbacks because of the bullshit. Yeah. That's something I hate about sports, because that's the politics of sports. If you pay a guy that much money, you want to play him. You see what I'm saying?
Well, the pressure's on the coach to play them at that point, because they'll get rid of your ass quicker than they will that quarterback.
And it's like that in college, because just think about it. If I bring in a hot shot, that dang on 5-star quarterback, I got to play the kid or he's going to leave. I'm surprised. Only reason why I think Nico Lavielle from Tennessee is stuck with the program and didn't transfer after this year is because of the $7 million that he had got. If he wouldn't have got that big ass NIL deal to go to Tennessee, I think he would have hit the transfer portal like a lot of those other freshman kids also. like Moore from UCLA. He got a big ass damn NIL deal, but he was like, "Fuck it, I'm finna go." Just think about Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers left high school early, signed his NIL deal, went to Ohio State, sat on the bench, but his contract was kind of stipulated into playing time. You need to be on the field if I'm gonna pay you all this motherfucking money. So that's one of the reasons why he transferred. So I'm saying, so it's it's kind of crazy. But
Nick
then.
Saban Jr. He was chomping at the bit. I want to let him
Go
get
ahead. That's my thought.
I lost some about saying some of my good stuff, but let's go back to Moore. He go to UCLA. He hit the transfer portal, but you know the first thing he said is one of the main things that we talk about. He want to go somewhere in time and get developed where he can go get developed at, because you don't see him getting developed at UCLA. UCLA want to throw this kid out there so freaking fast and so early, because they'll tell Moore he was one of the guys that I liked a lot in his recruiting cycle. You know what I'm saying? Because I said I think he can be a good quarterback. But the first thing he said, he wants to go somewhere where he can take his time and be developed to a quarterback. That's the first thing he said.
Where the fuck is he gonna go? Because there ain't too many places that's really developing quarterbacks like that. And the reason why I say that is because of the turnover when it comes to college coaches. You know what I'm saying? The development comes from the quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator. That's the developmental, especially that's the most important development for a kid, the quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator. But if a quarterback coach is leaving after this year to go to be an OC here, and then the OC is going somewhere else to be a head coach here, where is the kids getting developed at? You know what I'm saying? That's hard. I think the development honestly comes from the adolescent ages, the ages, especially with the quarterback, from the age of 6 all the way through like 16, 17. That's the developmental ages. When these kids, to me, this is my opinion, when they speak that, I just want to go get somewhere developed. You were at a coach that was in the NFL. See what I'm saying? You were in a coach, you were in a program that's got the monies, got the facilities. See what I'm saying? So some things I understand when those guys be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like with a lineman, things like that, or running back or something, maybe even wide receiver. But when it comes to the quarterback position, I call cap on a lot of that stuff, man. Because a lot of these kids, like I say, they get training early. Their training starts differently than anybody else. See what I'm saying? Because go ahead.
And you got Chip Kelly. You're playing for Chip Kelly, like you said, coached 2 NFL teams. He had brought Oregon from a high level to even higher status while he was there. Put him in a college football championship game. Won a Heisman. Had a quarterback that won a Heisman under him. I mean, yeah, man. What more do you want? Who else do you want to
play for? With Herbert, or he had left with Herbert?
No, he left well before Herbert was there. But he had what's his name that won the Heisman there?
Marcus Mariota. I know he had Marcus Mariota. He had the kid that came from what's the team that play on the red turf? FCS. He had him come in. And
from Washington.
From Washington, he brought him in that after Marcus Mariota left, and they produced very good. So I say, like, okay, if that's your excuse, kid, fine and dandy. You can tell the public that, but at least be honest with your situation too, and say, hey, it's something I just didn't like the fit or something like that. But don't tell the people that you want to get developed and you have a fucking NFL coach who's an offensive genius. Like, let's stop that now. I did to stop.
See, this just went full circle, and we didn't even mean for it to. This ties right back into that Cam Newton conversation he had and got attacked for. Developmental. These guys, you can't bring them in. They got to run a certain style system or they will not succeed. They don't have the great arm. They don't have the vision. They can't read a defense to make them elite like that. You think about it. Trevor Siemian's playing in the NFL right now. And Cam Newton
right now. Yup.
What? Who the hell made that decision?
Gardner Minshew is still in the fucking NFL right now. Fuck this.
Cam Newton is not in the NFL. And I'm an Alabama fan, but I'll be up front. Cam Newton had some magical seasons, dude. And it wasn't because he had the greatest talent in the world around him either. All right. And he didn't fall on a ball in the Super Bowl and everybody turned on him. And that was an effort play he should have made. And I'm sure if he could do it over again, he would have had. But he kind of went into business for himself and thought, nah, I ain't taking that shot. But you know what? He made Carolina relevant more than they had ever been in their franchise's history. He won an MVP. They don't just hand them out to bad players most of the time.
I bet you they could really well. Cam quarterback now with the bullshit that he got with Bryce Young. Cam won more games in his rookie season than fucking anybody else in the damn Carolina Panther history type shit. So let's just stop that, man. It's just, oh man, it's not
that. Honestly, think about that. That Trevor Siemian's in the NFL, Joe Flacco's in the NFL, and Cam Newton ain't. Is it because he's outspoken?
Yeah.
Is it because he has an opinion? I mean, what is it that makes Cam Newton not be in the NFL anymore? Go ahead, NSJ. I know you have something to say.
Yeah.
Dang, I can't even think of the quarterback name right now. Jacoby Brissett. We see all these teams with NFL quarterback problems. Why isn't Jacoby Brissett a starting quarterback for somebody? Because he is better than majority of these guys that are starting right now. But nobody gives him the call. Be like, hey, I need you to come start for me, man.
Hey, nobody gives him the call. Who was the cat that was the Chargers starting quarterback a couple years ago? A punctured lung, and then Herbert took over and then took the starting job.
Yeah.
He bounced around the NFL for a while. Man, that dude's a good quarterback. It's just like what's his name that just announced he was retiring after the end of the season that played for Louisville in college. Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Bridgewater don't have the greatest arm in the world, but he's a good decision maker. He's got the athleticism to get out of the pocket. He's not going to cost you a lot of ball games. If you can put some talent around him, you can win with Bridgewater. But that's a guy that's been shuffled around the NFL for people just because they get drafted and get a higher contract. But he has successfully had more games, better games than a lot of these guys now.
Right.
And you know what? He's this is what he said too when he said he realized that I'm Teddy Bridgewater for 3 hours on Sunday, but after that I am Theodore Bridgewater. You know what I'm saying? After them 3 hours of football, after that he's just a regular old person. That's what he realized.
Always liked him too, man.
Yeah, me too, man. I really hated that injury at Minnesota for him because I believe that he really took off if not for the injury. I think that messed him up a lot mentally, more mentally than anything, man.
Hey, who's the cat that's quarterback that played for Florida when we played him in the SEC championship? I think it was 2020, that crazy ass SEC championship game. Who was Florida? Is he still at the Bucs?
Yeah, he's the best.
Why ain't they trying to develop that cat, man? He could throw.
Man, throw all them shits away and get a fucking other quarterback.
Dude, I seen him making window throws against NFL level corners that were playing for Alabama in the SEC championship game. They were hanging off of that cat, and he was making window throws. And I'm like, why don't y'all develop that guy?
Hey, but y'all know who's still in the NFL? That what's your boy that played for Auburn a couple years ago? Oh man, the one right before Bo Nix. Stidham. Stidham is in the NFL still. You see what I'm saying? You got guys like that. You like, oh man, Stidham man shouldn't be in no fucking NFL. But I was just, you got like, okay, Atlanta Falcons. Man, you got the kid from Cincinnati, man. That's the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons right now. It should not be. He is not. No, because we saw when he played against a real defense against Alabama. What happened to that kid? See what I'm saying? Yeah. Now you can't do shit against NFL caliber quarterback. I mean NFL caliber defense in the college. What you think going to happen to you against nothing but pros? And
now remember a guy like Dante Culpepper.
Right.
When he played for, who was he playing for? Was it UCL?
Yeah.
Upset Alabama one year.
Yeah.
You couldn't name three players on that team. He upset Alabama that year. Right. When you're looking at college quarterbacks, that's why I wasn't real high on Anthony Richardson. I don't care how high he can jump. That don't make shit to me. But he couldn't beat Kentucky. He didn't have 59 passing yards against Kentucky. He couldn't complete 50% of his passes throughout a season. And the East is weaker than the West in the SEC. They say what they want to. It's weaker than the West in the SEC. And he couldn't do it at a high level for a string of games. And you're going to pick him in the top 5 and throw the damn bag at him. And he don't even know how to slide yet. You're investing millions of dollars into a kid that's trying to run like Earl Campbell, and you're going to get hurt.
He don't know how to go up under the center, man.
No,
listen.
We got tons of quarterbacks in the NFL that don't know how to take a snap under center.
I told tons of people. I said, see, if I was the GM in one of these NFL team rooms and they kept talking about Anthony Richardson, I would have pulled up the Kentucky game itself. I said, this is the game. This is the reason why he should 2 more years in college and not be talking on NFL talk. Y'all need to stop this. I hate the NFL because they draft people that doesn't fit the system that you try to do. You try to make some kids do shit that they don't do, and now the kid, the person that they draft takes so much of a hit, and they don't watch college football. It's obvious that you guys don't watch. I know they don't watch college football.
That's why I respected Greg Roman at the Ravens when they got Lamar Jackson. They didn't try to make him into the next pocket quarterback.
Yeah,
they developed the offense around him and let him run his style, what he's comfortable with, and they've had continued success. Yeah, they haven't won a Super Bowl yet, but they've been continuously good, and he's won an MVP.
I use that comparison to all the time. I say the reason why Lamar Jackson is killing it right now, because when they decided to commit to Lamar Jackson, they threw all that shit out the window what they was doing. I said that was not the Ravens offense at first, but when they committed to him, they were like, this shit gotta work. He's an investment now, so we gotta do all the shit that he likes to do, what makes him comfortable. So he's successful now. But these programs don't do that shit. These programs don't do it.
And it's the same with the Dolphins. They're doing what Tua did well in college. They're doing it in the NFL. They're spreading guys out. They're doing timing routes, and they're letting him run off of that. But where they get their ass whipped is when they play a physical ball team like last week. They got that sledgehammer at running back called Derrick Henry, who could slow the game down and take your tempo away from you. And once they play a physical football team, they're exposed a little bit. So that's something they're going to have to think about. But what they're doing with Tua is fantastic.
Right. But you got to look at Tua, though. Go ahead.
That's why I gave Mike McDaniel. That's why I gave Mike McDaniel so much props.
But I was gonna say that, man. Oh shit.
I gave Mike McDaniel so much props because when he first got hired, they was talking about trading Tua. The first thing that he did, he said, "Nope, I'm going to get all the right pieces around Tua that we need for him to be successful." That's why I gave him props. I said, that's what a coach do. They don't just, we need a new quarterback, because if you get another quarterback, you probably get somebody worse. You're probably going to draft somebody worse, or you probably going to get somebody out of free agency worse. Tua, no, he is not the game changer. He is what Cam Newton said he is. Do the right things around these game changers, around these game managers, you can't out of them. Being a game manager is not a bad thing. I don't know why people, when they hear that, they take it as, oh, you dissing me. No, ain't nothing wrong with being a game manager. We won national championships with game managers.
We won more national championships with game managers than we did with superstars at quarterback.
Yes.
So let me ask you this: is Tom Brady a game manager?
In my eyes, yes. I never thought he had an elite level arm. He didn't have the strongest arm on the field. Now, he was a great mind. He knew how to read a defense. Like, he had great intangibles, but he wouldn't, God knows he wasn't fast. He was going to get out. If you could corner him in the pocket, his ass was gone.
Right.
I mean, he didn't have the strongest arm. He wasn't going to make all the window throws on the field, but he was smart enough to use what he had, and he could read a defense, and they built, and you could win with that. So, yeah, to me, he is a game manager, and people call him the greatest now. So, really, is game manager a bad thing? Because God knows he did not have Dan Marino's skill set. He couldn't sit out there and throw a Dan Marino or a Brett Favre or a Warren Moon. They all have.
Let me ask you this: name one quarterback that won a Super Bowl that wasn't a game manager.
You might be alluding to something that I've been thinking for a long time here.
Only one you can say is Brett Favre.
Maybe
only one.
Maybe Patrick Mahomes. Maybe just because he was doing some wild stuff, kind of out of pocket. Roethlisberger's a game manager. I mean, yeah. I mean, name one. Maybe John Elway. Because I mean, John
But
Elway
see,
had
when
an
he won,
elite
no. When he
arm,
won, he was a
He
game
did
manager.
but he didn't
But
win.
when
John
Elway
Elway
won,
didn't really win until he got a running back and some defense. So
right, he was a game manager when he won the Super Bowl. Only Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and Brett Favre. Those are the only three that are quote unquote non-game managers. Everybody else is game managers.
But you could say with Brett Favre too, he had Reggie White on the other side of the ball. One of the greatest to ever do it. So he could ride his defense when he made mistakes. You know, some of these guys don't have that luxury.
Right.
Yeah. See that.
So you may be saying something, Coach. That may be the real conversation here. With a guy that can do all the things on the field, but's going to go into business for himself, kind of like Bryce did at Alabama last year. Not hating on him, but you get so reliant on their skill set and their ability that you don't play team football anymore, and that's where you win championships at. So maybe Coach Dude's seeing something here. I think Coach Dude had seen. He's playing 6-level chess with us right now. He knows what he's trying to say, and he's just seeing what we're going to say about it. You may have something.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking. I mean, just think about it. Just think about it.
Maybe you do need a guy that's smart with a football and not going to lose you a football game more than you need a guy that can make all the throws but may take too many risks when the game's on the line.
The risk.
Right. Because you think about it like this, for the guys with the strong arms and that can fit it in a tight window, they're gonna throw it in that window. They're gonna try to put that dang on football in that little bit ass square every damn time. And you got the simple pass wide open. You know what I'm saying? Yep. You got to think about it like that. Well, and if you look at like with Flacco, that year Baltimore won it with Flacco. Flacco didn't turn the ball over. Right. See what I'm saying? If you look at it, even with Kansas City, Kansas City is somewhat of a game management because it's a lot of the deep balls was off play action. A lot of the stuff that he did was dink and dunk, and the receivers took it to the touchdown. Yep. Like with Miami, you know what I'm saying? With Tua the same way. It's the system. Even though I know Patrick Mahomes is not a game manager. I know this, but I'm just saying. Yeah,
put your athletes in place and allow them to do what they do best. I get what you're saying 100%.
Right. And see, I bring up AJ McCarron, man. AJ McCarron was the ultimate game manager.
Yeah.
All those things that man had. See what I'm saying? Look at Mac. Look at Mac. Mac had 5 fucking receivers that went to the NFL. He didn't turn the ball over. He was a game manager.
Dude, one of my favorite quarterbacks in Alabama history is Coker, because that guy, he was a game manager personified. There was no doubt in my mind he was ever going to go in the NFL and do anything. But at the college level, he managed what was in front of him. He didn't make mistakes. And that was a dude that wanted to damn win. Y'all never forget him trucking that LSU linebacker going into the end zone against LSU. And he won me over for life right there. Because that was a guy that he put it on the line right there. And he was not the best athlete on the field, but he wanted to win. And you love guys like that, man. And Blake Sims, he was a running back in high school mostly. I mean, he played quarterback, but he played running back. And then he come to Alabama as a running back. And then they put him back at quarterback. And then he come out and started breaking records.
Broke records. He started the trend off of the explosiveness of the offensive for Alabama. If it wasn't for Blake, people think of somebody else but him.
Hey, listen. This is the reason why Alabama fans are stupid. I'm sorry to say it like this, because the last time we had this conversation was Jalen Miro, but one before that was Blake Sims. Hated Blake Sims. They did not want to see Blake Sims in the fall, and look what Blake Sims did.
Dude, but him and Kiffin together was money.
Magic. That was magic. Yes, sir.
Kiffin was throwing the touchdown on. Who knew? Here he's got Amari Cooper down here. He's gonna throw it up and touchdown. It didn't matter, and he used the athletes around him. Like, he didn't make a bunch of stupid mistakes, man. And we don't give guys like that enough props, because I'd rather have a smart player than a great athlete sometimes.
Right. Just like I said, that was just the question I had to ask, and just put that on your mind. You know,
that's the whole show right there, dude. You know how you can do an entire show off of that subject, because it branches so many different ways. Because like you said, Elway was an incredible player in his day, but they went to 3 Super Bowls and lost it. Then they get Terrell Davis, that running game, and they surround him with good talent at wide receiver. And he had Shannon Sharp at tight end, one of the greatest tight ends to ever do it. And then that defense come around. And all of a sudden,
statistically, look at Dan Marino statistically. Dan Marino was not a game manager. He threw the ball all over the damn field. But what did he win?
Nothing. And I was a Dan guy. He threw one of the great. He threw one of the prettiest passes you would ever see. Just an incredible arm. To put it anywhere on the field. But what did he ever win, man?
So this is why I bring it back to college football with this subject. So they always talk about these high-profile quarterbacks in college, and I tell people, because they were talking about, especially in the beginning of the season when they was on our case about Miro, I said, so how many really high-profile quarterbacks in college win national championships?
Well, look at the 5 guys that they've got going in the top 10 of the draft this year. Ain't none of them ever won anything.
Exactly.
That's true. Now, if you want to think about that,
Sam Hartman's, all those guys ain't never won what I would call a big ball game. And guys, I hate to do this, but Icebox needs me to wrap this up because I'll go for another 5 hours because we having good conversation. Because I was fixing to go deep on Jeff George and his skill set back in the 90s. I feel to take it back. But
what y'all doing around 7 today? If y'all not busy around 7, man, we'll start this up on mine. I'm thinking about going live around by 7 tonight. If y'all free, tap in with me. I love you guys, man. Roll motherfucking Tide. I'll see y'all next Sunday.
Hey, Coach Dude, I'll try to get in there with you tonight, man. If y'all don't follow Coach Dude, by the way, he's got a channel and it's fantastic. Fantastic YouTube channel. I try to go over there every time he goes live. I don't want to miss nothing. I love his opinions on everything.
The thing about
if you don't
Coach
follow Coach Dude, make sure you follow him.
And the thing about Coach Dude, it ain't just college football. Like he gonna bring up a topic that so it's sports. You know what I'm saying? And he has a good argument, a good rant about it, whatever he talks about too, man. So
one night he had me going from college football to Charleston White, dude. And I don't even know how he did it, but I started talking about everything. So it's impressive, man. He's got some talent. And the same goes for you, Nick Saban Jr. I don't know about college football, nothing about recruiting or transfer portal unless you tell me about it on your channel. So they've pulled your channel up right here, guys. If y'all don't subscribe, he's on the road to 1,000. He deserves 10,000. He knows he deserves 100,000 because that's where I get my information at. I couldn't talk about half this stuff if he didn't tell me about it first. So that channel right there, that's the best channel going to me. So we appreciate you coming on here, Nick Saban Jr. You always giving us an education. You always letting us know everything that's going on in the sports world. So big ups to you, man.
Appreciate it.
Always. Yeah, I'm running through the boards now, of upcoming shows. Of course, Nick Saban Jr., we always try to promote him as much as we can. I'm like you. I get my info from him on recruiting and transfer portals, and I know it's a daggum tough job. I know it is.
Anybody I know that even slightly likes college football, I send them links. I'm like, hey, check this dude out. Look at him. Go check this out.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. About 11, 12 days ago, I was at like 790 something. Right now, I'm currently at 888. I did a video yesterday. They got me 2.8K and 32 new subscribers off that video, man.
Good deal. Good job.
Well deserved. People don't know what kind of hard work it is to do all that research, man.
Whew. And especially when you got a household of kids running around driving you crazy. You got
all about
it. I give y'all some credit. What?
I know you're busy. Man. I respect you for that. I'm always looking. I know that man is going crazy right about now.
Which is why we respect you coming on our show too and dropping knowledge and talking about things that you could have honestly turned into videos on your own channel. So for you to come on here and share stuff with us and help us out and keep the conversation flowing, man, we appreciate it more than you know. And you know that because I text you all the time and thank you, man.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell y'all a thing. Listen. In like 24 hours, it's 24 hours to 48 hours. Expect Dylan Raiola thing to play out. I don't know if he's gonna be Nebraska. I really think it's Nebraska. Honestly, I think he's Nebraska lock. But let's see. We're gonna hear something in 24 hours or 48 hours, and I'm giving it 24. I'm giving it 24.
All right,
I'll be following it
I'm
close.
anxious to hear. I am too. All right, guys, we'll get out of here. Junior, you know you're always welcome. So all I want to say is don't take so long next time getting on the show. It's like I keep baiting him with a dadgum link, and he won't take it.
I'll be doing something then, but I'm listening. I'm listening to more of what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm like, hell with it, I'm finna hop on.
I try to bait you up sometimes, man. I try to bait you up. I'm like, if I hit maybe this topic right here, we might get him jump on with us. You know,
the last 2 Sundays y'all been giving me too. Y'all been giving me.
Hey, don't feel bad. I baited Coach Dude last night, so
yep.
Yeah, he done a great job.
Him in here. I texted him before the show. I was like, Coach Dude, you coming on, right?
Yeah,
that was a good show last night too.
It was.
Yeah, I heard the whole
good show. I enjoyed it.
Conversation y'all had last night. Yeah, that was spot on last night. Cause just one thing I want to hit. I got one more thing, and we ain't got to make it no long thing. We was talking about the level of players, cause y'all was talking about it last night. Like what like we talk about the stars and stuff, but I look at the far as what type of high school they play in. And this one dude in the 2025 class, Terry Bussey. I don't know if y'all done heard of this guy, but he a big time name in the 2000. I found out he plays 2A football in Texas. Now in Texas, you can look at 2A is a little up, but I'm like, it's 2A football.
Yeah.
I'm like, so I'm ready to see 2025. I'm ready to see him and where he develops to. Cause I'm like, 2A football? Come on, man.
Yeah, how you gonna call a dude a 4 or 5 star like that when you ain't never seen him play against real talent? Like, I totally get it.
Yep, I do too. All right, well, we'll get out of here. I can never say enough. Thank you, Junior, for coming on. We always enjoy you on here. Van, you must be tired with all that NFL. You probably need to go take a nap yourself.
I can talk football for days, brother.
My Bucks won, bro. My Bucks just won. I know that.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. If anybody else is still watching, and if y'all watching the show later on replay, whatever, I am still wanting to line up people for Bigfoot stories because it's going to be coming up on me real soon. And I don't want to get caught behind because I really want to produce y'all a good show that I think y'all will enjoy. So if you know anybody or heard stories or heard things or whatever you may call it, I am going to do a roundup eventually. I know Travis B is interested. I know Justin is interested. There are probably some others that they're kind of scared of. Man, this is not something to ridicule nobody about. It's just to have some fun and make some discussion. I am working on some other levels. We'll see what happens there. But anyways, it's going to be fun. So if y'all remember to do so, let me know. Hit me up. Put something in the comment. Just let me know something. Anyways, all right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Guys, great show. Oh, I cut off the wrong thing. And right there's what we want. We're going out with the bear. Guys, we'll see y'all after a while.
Roll down Tide, y'all.
Roll Tide.
You've got to be better in all 3 areas of life, which, of course, are spiritual, mental, and physical. You must be able to discipline yourself. If you don't learn but one thing out of football, it'll be worthwhile. There's certain sacrifices that you will have to make. There are going to be many sacrifices you have to make in later life. To fight. Oh, I don't mean fist fight. I mean to get up and come back and get up and come back and get up and come back again after you've been knocked down. And that could happen to you in later life. But if it does, you're going to know how to handle it. There's no one that ever has or ever will accomplish anything alone. I've read about self-made men. That's Tommy rot, as far as I'm concerned. I don't even know how to define intangibles. And I know that if you learn these lessons, you'll have it. And if you have it, you'll win, and you'll be better prepared in those 3 areas of life that we've been talking about. That there are going to be times for everyone that you're going to get discouraged. But if you never lose sight of your objective and never give up on yourself, if we do that as a team, 11 at a time, 4 years from now, why, we'll be walking out of here